Hey everybody, welcome to the stream. We are going to be reacting to the Canada First rally that was happening today in Ottawa with Pierre Poilievre delivering a speech. I don't think we're going to watch the whole thing because there's this long sort of intro here, but he starts speaking and it looks like he's on stage for about an hour. But you know, there has been some hype around this. I saw on my Twitter earlier. Let's see if I can find it. This is a funny tweet. Freeland headquarters let's make that bigger. Freeland headquarters comparing the display of the flag to Trump. And then someone from Western Standard says, you know who else had a rally and a really big flag? Hitler. So true. So true. Pierre Poilievre is Hitler, is Trump. It's all the same thing, guys. How's it going, everybody? Thanks for tuning in. Yeah, we're just going to kind of react to Mr. Pierre Poilievre tonight, see if he's based, see what he has to say. This was the tweet I was talking about, though, from Puck Daddy. Pierre is locked in. The rally is absolutely packed. His message is strong, clear, and to the point. The Canada First movement is bigger than ever. This basically all started with Puck Daddy. I'm pretty sure this new chapter in Pierre Poilievre's trajectory came from Puck Daddy, this activist. He invented Canada First. The Canada First movement is bigger than ever. Common sense is... I'm being sarcastic, of course. The Canada First movement is bigger than ever. Common sense is coming back to Canada. We are the real patriots. I'm a patriot. I had no interest in going there. The patriots that I know had no interest in going there. I replied, so is he starting deportations or no? Is he talking about deportations or no? I saw another reply. Redneck Jim Bro said, did he finally ditch his net zero carbon agenda? Did he change his pro-Ukraine stance? Did he announce a halt on immigration? No? Then I'm not interested. And then Joe says, watch it. He says, watch it. And that's what we're going to do. Strap in, get a beverage. I might skim through the beginning before he starts talking real quickly. Because I think his wife says a few things. But, yeah, I was going to react to this, or I was going to watch this anyway. I just figured I'd stream it. How are you guys doing? PP gave an excellent speech. Hope it is not all hot air. Did you watch it? How do you know it was excellent? Make treason a crime again, says ACB. Yeah, real, for real. So let's get into this.
Et aujourd'hui, nous avons une vraie
Whoa. Whoops. I messed that up. That's better, right? I think there's going to be the live chat, too, that we could see on
canadienne parmi nous, Joan O'Marley, a cousu le tout
All right, we're off to a great start. Speaking in French. Love it.
premier drapeau canadien, powerful symbol of the greatest country on earth, on behalf of Pierre Poilievre and common sense conservatives all across Canada. I'd like to present you, Joan, with a small gift, a Canadian flag from Stornoway, the official resident of the leader of...
We got some turbans in the crowd. Got some faces, okay? What are these hats back here? I don't know. I mean, it doesn't look... It looks packed, but I wonder if they'll show crowd shots.
In Jonquière who are struggling to make ends meet. She worked so hard, combining 2 jobs to buy a home in a safe neighborhood. Yeah, just for her. Yeah. I grew up as a young girl with my mom teaching me about Canada's promise where if you work hard, everything is possible. But after 9 years of the Carney-Trudeau Liberals, appuyés à...
Wow, they start with Carney now? They're calling it Carney's Liberals? Man, love it.
100% par le Bloc. This promise is now broken. I did everything I've been asked to do. I went to school, I got a degree, I worked hard. So
After my military service, I was elected as a municipal councillor, standing up for my neighbours and advocating for lower taxes. Today, as a Conservative Member of Parliament for the riding of Leeds, Grenville, Thousand Islands and Rideau Lakes, I bring that same dedication and work ethic to Parliament. And along with my wife, Amanda, we're raising our 5 wonderful children. Yes, that's a lot of kids. And I'm committed to building a future where every Canadian family can thrive.
We all know.
What was that? What did he say?
Can thrive.
Something's got your back, Michael. I mean, I already feel like the theme to this is going to be, it's going to be kind of what it's always been, which is, hey, things are so horrible and we need a change, don't we? Don't we just want to like work hard and have the government leave us alone? It's just kind of typical sort of libertarian stuff. Yeah, and it's just like they're just so much more. Oh, here's a comment. Can you guys see this? Oh, my head's in the way. Let's let it ride up.
We all know that Canada is the greatest country on earth, but after 9 years, it hasn't always felt that way. I'm sure you've all
there it
seen
is. Boom. Can you guys see that on the right here? Shouts outs to Jack Fillmore. Can I like the comment? Nope. He says mass deportations now. I wonder. One's in chat if you think that they're going to bring up mass deportations at all. I think they might. I was reflecting on this. You know, they say that this is going to be a big rebrand for Poilievre tonight. We'll see. But, you know, it's kind of concerning because as much as I really don't like Poilievre and I think he's just going to give us more of the same, we're going to get like slightly lower taxes. We might get some slightly better things here. But, you know, he is also post-nationalist. He is also multicultural, just like Trudeau. He's not going to be hard on immigration. He is not going to call for deportation, even though there's going to be millions of people here illegally quite soon. So yeah, we're going to be hopping out of the frying pan into the fire, I think, with this Poilievre guy. And he's got all of this animosity or all this sort of, everyone hates Trudeau and hates the Liberals right now. And he's going to like ride that all the way to the bank. But like, he has no vision for the future of Canada. You know, it's not looking good, but I'm worried because he's given himself so much room to move to the right before the election, assuming it happens in the fall, or even if it's short term. Like, he has given himself room to like move to the right and say a few things that are further to the right, which will, you know, like he'll throw red meat to people like us and be like, you know what? And maybe we'll do deportations. Like he hasn't said that, but it's almost like he's given himself room to say that leading up to the election. Like maybe he'll just say it a couple of weeks before the election, like to try to get us on board. Even though he's clearly not going to do that. Even in the States, they're not really following through with deportations like they did for the first few days, but like they're not even posting the numbers anymore of how many people they're deporting. But there needs to be a much stronger will for deportations. But anyway, yeah, so it is kind of concerning because like as much as I don't like Poilievre, he actually is being pretty smart. Like he has all this like space to like move to the right, and then people will be like, see, he is based. But yeah, I mean, I don't think that's the case at all. Let's watch. Let's see. I think I'm just going to skim ahead and just get Mr. Small PP talking.
But Donald Trump has threatened Canada. He has threatened us with tariffs. He has threatened us to make us the 51st state. Il a menacé nos jobs ici au Canada.
And carbon tax Carney? Well, he is just the man to help Donald Trump. We now spend more paying off the debt on carbon tax Carney and Justin Trudeau's credit card than we do on the federal health transfer. And to pay for their out-of-control inflationary spending, they are taxing Canadians to death. Carbon tax Carney is telling a bald-faced lie to Canadians when he says he'll cancel the carbon tax. Now, maybe you saw it. The other day, a CTV reporter, Todd Battis, asked if the industry would pass on the cost of carbon tax Carney's new carbon tax to consumers. Now, his response was, quote, no, because what the big companies are producing, by and large, are not products that we're consuming. You know, a steel company. How much steel are you using these days, Todd? Not much, said Carney. But Like, what uses steel? Cars, trucks, fridges, ovens, dishwashers, microwaves, washers, dryers, cutlery, cookware, tools, bed frames, chairs, tables, storage shelves, structural steel.
This sucks, man. This is total. This is for political nerds. Like all this stuff. Well, what's made with steel? I'll tell you what's with steel. We have a foreign interference problem, guys. You know, we have corrupt institutions across the board. You know, like there's so many. Have you seen the epidemic of crime in the GTA? If you guys don't know this guy, Cars with Sudrin, he used to be just a car guy covering like car news, and then all these luxury vehicles were getting stolen like systematically, like constantly in the GTA, and he posts these videos now of these like break and enters. And it happens every day. Like there's break and enters every day. Like the crime has run rampant in the GTA. And I don't know. It's just like the cost of steel. It's like people are literally getting their homes invaded on a daily basis in our major city center. All this just seems like a bunch of Ottawa Conservative Party. Like, oh man, like the cost of milk. You know, like all this economic stuff, which of course is important, but I'm just picturing this like battle between Carney and Poilievre, and they're just kind of like warring over who's going to save us more money, you know? And it's like, this is totally besides the point. You know, this is totally beside. I'm worried about our institutions just be filled with, you know, foreign actors who are, anyway, you get the picture. Like this, we're going to be seeing who can. It's just about taxes, guys. It's just about taxes and working hard. That's the whole country now. It's just taxes, working hard. That's the whole thing. All right. I don't know if I can. I'll watch this for a little bit longer, and then I'll skip ahead to Miss Poilievre, and then we'll watch Poilievre's speech.
Sinks, washers, fences, railings, gates. Do I need to go on? No, because you all get something that carbon tax Carney doesn't understand. Because if you use these things, you're going to be paying Mark Carbon Tax Carney's newest carbon tax. And for President Trump, that's a dream.
Like, ooh, carbon tax. Oh, like, holy fuck, man. Jeez. Am I watching a kid's show? Like, what is this?
Come true.
This is, maybe I haven't been like following closely like the messaging from the Conservative Party, but like this stuff is just so disinteresting to me right now.
And it gets even worse if you can believe it. Carbon tax Carney opposed Canadian pipelines while profiting off U.S. coal. He has fought to kill on the record projects such like the Northern Gateway pipeline that would have allowed oil and gas to reach Asia.
Oh man, I was gonna comment on just this woman's like. She was speaking earlier. I don't know if she's possessed or what. Anyway, all right. Who's this guy?
Nothing was handed to us. Nothing. We rolled up our sleeves. We worked and we worked hard. But through it all, my parents never wavered their beliefs that their sacrifices would one day pay off. They knew that if we worked hard.
This is our Vivek. This is our Vivek, guys. This is what we get. What does that guy's sign say? Canadian born? No, it's. I think it's. It says like first en français, which is like laborde or something like that. This is our Vivek Ramaswamy, guys.
Played by the rules and earned an honest.
I'm a Canadian, just like you. Look, my parents worked hard. That's all that being Canadian is working hard. Nothing to do with the ancestry of the people who built this nation, at all. It's just do you work hard? Do you pay taxes? That makes you Canadian now. By virtue of that, I guess all Americans could be Canadians too. They're just in the wrong economic zone, right? Anyway,
living, we could achieve that Canadian dream. A decent home, a secure future, and the chance to raise a family with dignity. They dreamed of a country where their sons could play sports, get a good education, and build a life even better than theirs. That was Canada's promise. But after 9 years, that promise feels out of reach for far too many. The good news, common sense conservatives are ready to restore that promise.
Like, I'm just thinking what a sort of pitiful dream that is. You know, it's like, hey, just have a family and be left alone. Like, is that all we're really aspiring to? Is that it? You know, because if you compare that to like the aspirations of America, like America is much more of a superpower that is exerting their power all across the world. You know, they are able to influence politics in other countries. They're basically putting pressure on Greenland and ourselves right now. Like they're looking beyond just like, hey, have a family and stuff. But we're like, hey guys, we just want to work hard and have a family. And it's like, that's how bad things have gotten. You know, that's how bad things have gotten. And now our new dream is like, hey, can we survive? That's the dream, to sort of just be able to survive. And I guess my point is like in negotiations, if that's what you're asking for just to survive, knowing the powers that be, you're going to like get something less than that. If there was a real opposition in this country, it would be, we are going to completely gut Ottawa. We're going to completely gut, you know, metaphorically, of course, but we're going to completely oust all of the foreign interference. There's going to be mass arrests of any white collar crime that we find. You know, whether it's the fentanyl drug dealers, the money laundering, having intensive investigations into Parliament, into every major institutions, including the RCMP and CSIS. Like if we were like serious about this, like that would probably be the best thing. We need to drain the swamp, essentially. You know, it's already kind of been said, but we need to completely gut our institutions and get the sickness that's in there out. But instead of that sort of vision, which is like way too cool and interesting, we're getting, hey, we want to be able to live. We want to be able to like exist and just like work hard and like have a family. And it's like, how, like, you know, obviously it speaks to how bad things are now, but it's just like, it just seems so pitiful.
By building the freest country in the world.
Yeah. Free for what? Free for money laundering? Free to do crime? You know, like, hey, I'm a free speech guy too, but, you know, we actually in a way, we kind of need like less freedom of criminals just to move in here and, you know, rape our naivete, because that's what's happening. But, yeah.
A country where it doesn't matter where you're from, but where you're going. A country, if you work hard, you get a good life. A country where it doesn't matter who you know, it matters.
It's just, I'm honestly becoming a sovereign citizen at this point. You know, maybe Canada is a corporation and we're all just here to work for the corporation of Canada. You know what? I think those guys were right. I think Canada is a corporation. I'm a sovereign citizen now. My gosh. Art Story says it was only 42 kilograms of fentanyl, though. Yeah, who said that? Was that like that fat Muslim gay mayor or whatever? He said that, right? Was it the Edmonton mayor, the Calgary mayor? It's only 42 kilograms of fentanyl, enough to kill a whole bunch of people. Unbelievable. Yeah, and that's what I'm saying. Like, there's so much outrageous stuff to like actually get mad at. And hey, guys, maybe you'll be able to afford a home. You know, it's like that's a pitiful vision. That's a pitiful, like, that's like, you know, like we need to counteract the corruption. We need to self-correct and get something much better than what we have. And this whole grand vision is like, hey, maybe you can afford a home soon. Fucking pitiful, man. All right, let's see what the wife has to say.
And we feel that it is now our duty to fight for our country.
Oh, whoa, super chat. Whoa. Unacceptable. I can't read that. What does it say? Unacceptable living. I can't read the rest of your name. Sorry. How do I open that? Unacceptable living with the $20 super chat. Thank you so much, sir. It's important. There is so much bullshit. The comedy and updates are appreciated. Meet you in Schwa at show once. Thank you. Oh, in Oshawa. Cool, man. Thanks for coming out to that show. I want to start doing comedy live shows a lot more. That'll be later in 2025. Got to get this documentary completed. There is a trailer coming up that will be done within the week. I have a really good rough draft for it, and we're going to be relaunching there's going to be a major update for the documentary. If you want to help support a story all about the persecuted Canadians in Canada who are persecuted for their political opinion, you can go to givesendgo.com/savefreespeech. And of course, thanks to Goran Janjan with the $88 he donated 3 days ago. Really appreciate that, sir. Yeah, if you want to support, givesendgo.com/savefreespeech. I'll put the link in the chat. But yeah, as I said, big update coming. Kind of have to pivot, obviously, because Bill C-63 is not as urgent anymore. The landscape is changing. But really, it's like I was saying, it's, there's this big kind of sideshow between Carney and Poilievre and the liberals, conservatives, who's going to win, and Trump. And it's like, guys, our institutions are rotten, okay? Although Trudeau is leaving, his politics have still entrenched every single one of our institutions. And, if you're a doctor, you can't speak about certain things. If you're a professor or a teacher, you can't speak about certain things, and you get disciplined for it. And then your reputation gets ruined. We have comedians who are being attacked by our public broadcaster right now and having their reputation, like their livelihood and their careers attacked for making the wrong jokes. Although there's not immediate laws anymore, like Bill C-63, that are like urgently pressing down on us. First of all, they're going to want to pass those laws, regardless of which crook party gets in. But, there's so many people in institutions and power positions that are persecuting people for their political opinion. And that's what this documentary is about, to let as many people in Canada know that this is happening. Here are the patterns. Here's a documentary about it. It's real. But, again, if you want to support that, there's going to be a great preview coming out in the next week. But it's givesendgo.com/savefreespeech. All right, Anita. I need a new prime minister. Let's go.
My brother Louis embodies that deep love for Canada. Whether serving in the Royal Canadian Air Force or standing guard to protect Canada's sovereignty, his dedication to Canada has been unwavering. It is why it was also a no-brainer for me when my husband asked me to embark on this journey with him. Some ask, why do we do this? Why do we put our family through the challenges of public life? Well, the answer is simple. Because Canada is worth fighting for.
Dude, this fake patriotism, man, this is going to be tough to get through this. I feel like that's the theme of the night. Fake patriotism, the fake fight. If you like fighting to get Trudeau's seat and do the same thing and have slightly lower taxes and bring in slightly less of the brown horde at a time. It's so far from winning. We're a patriot. We're going to sell out the country slightly slower. We're going to completely press down on you slightly less. We're patriots. No.
Because our children and yours deserve a country as full of promise as the one that welcomed my family. Because the principles that made Canada great,
the principles that make Canada great,
freedom, responsibility, and opportunity for all, are timeless and worth defending. That is why my husband, Pierre Poilievre, has taken on this mission. Pierre has always been a fighter for families, for workers, for people who just want a fair shot at a better life.
What about the unvaccinated? Was Poilievre a fighter for the unvaccinated? And the people who stood up to COVID mandates and COVID restrictions and they got their lives ruined, lost their jobs. Some of them got thrown in jail for their trouble. For over a year, actually. And some of them have very good reputations, like Tamara Lynch or Chris Barber. And Pierre Poilievre has not stood up for them once. It's been 3 fucking years. The most free country in the world. But you're not going to stand up for these people who stood up against tyrannical actions by this government. You're not going to say anything about that. The most free country in the world. Fucking horse shit, man. And I almost resent the fact that they probably will, like, once the Barber thing and the Litch trial is done, and maybe that's a good outcome, then maybe Poilievre will stand up and be like, I've always supported them and the convoy. Like, maybe he'll cash in on that finally. But it's like, when it was important, these people were not saying fucking anything. So fuck them, quite frankly. You know, it's not where, hey, we stood up for you 3 years later. Yeah, it's worth absolutely nothing.
Eh oui, mon mari est un batailleur. And while threats are looming from abroad, only my husband can deliver that strong leadership needed to fight back.
Oh, shit. Fuck me, dude. Fuck.
Room full of.
I was going to say direct flights to Amritsar. That's why he's calling for direct flights to Amritsar. That's how we fight back. That's how we fight back, with direct flights to Amritsar, India.
Husband can deliver that strong leadership needed to fight back.
Are people aware of this Amritsar thing? I mean, I put it on my Twitter. I'm assuming people know what it is, but I'll get it up real quick just in case there's someone watching who doesn't know what I'm talking about. This is a new clip. It looks like recent. Whoops. It looks like, you know, recent Poilievre in his recent brand. He's got no glasses on. What does he say?
And working every day to try and get a direct flight to Amritsar.
He's working every day to do this. Every day.
And working every day to try and get a direct flight to Amritsar.
That's crazy. This is the guy that's going to protect us from how did she phrase it? The foreign threats?
This is the time to choose conviction and strength, and to stand up for all Canadians and put Canada first.
Okay. Got it.
And while threats are looming from abroad.
From Amritsar, India? Is that where one of the threats is coming from? Really quick, let me try to bring this up. Let's see if I can find it. Somebody sent me this the other day, and it's actually insane. Because I'd never heard of this. You know how like the India, there's like when it comes to like learning about India and Indians, like it's just such a deep rabbit hole. This is from BBC.com. Why has India's Punjab fallen into the grip of drug abuse? A recent study suggests more than 800,000 young men in this state take some form of drugs. So Punjab is where Amritsar is. It's a state in India. And apparently an insane amount of people are addicted to drugs there. This is the place where Pierre Poilievre wants to get a direct flight. He's working every day, he says, to get a direct flight to Amritsar. Heroin is most preferred, used by 53% of all addicts. How many addicts are there? I mean, 800,000 young men. That's a lot. That's an army of drug addicts in Punjab. The BBC's Sanjoy Traveler. Yeah. Anyway, I'll share that tweet. I'll share that link in chat if you racists want to share it around. Excuse me. Hey, you guys aren't racist. I'm not racist. I was kidding. Okay. However, when When you share information that makes a certain group look bad, apparently that's just racist all of a sudden. But we still got to get through this fucking hour-long speech. So part of my language, just kind of, kind of letting the F-bombs fly tonight. I apologize. It is Saturday night, okay? Give me a break. I'm in Toronto. We're kind of snowed in here. So I figured I'd react to this with you guys.
My husband can deliver that strong leadership needed to fight back. Today, we stand together in this movement to put Canada first.
Iskra Bayala says, H1 big booty Latinas. I don't know what you're talking about.
Not for the elites, not for the special interests, but for everyday people who make this country great. Yeah. And to protect our country. So, let's take back our country. Let's put Canada first, and let's do it together. Let's go! Ladies and gentlemen, it is my profound honor to introduce to you my husband, the strong leader Canada needs.
And the next Prime Minister,
le prochain Premier ministre du Canada, Pierre Poilievre. Yeah, we fight for what's right. We're wild and we're free from the mountains above us. And all you can see
this entry music, oh my God. This entry music, jeez, bro. It's our home. Okay, there's some. I've been made some videos about this, but I was talking about how like leadership comes from the heart, and like you can't really fake it. It's just something that people feel. Like people have this sort of obsession with Trump, for example. Like people are just obsessed with Trump. And he does have that sort of, there's some sort of like rah-rah leadership. You could say he's owned by Israel now, and I would tend to agree with you. But like he, as a person, like psychologically, he connects with people in a certain way, and he gets them riled up. And especially with Trump sort of coming after and putting all this pressure on Canada, he has so quickly kind of just humiliated all of the leaders here, including Poilievre. And there's a lot of Conservative Party supporters. I was even like, they used to get mad at me for criticizing Poilievre, but even they the other day were like, man, Poilievre is not the guy. And I'm just pointing, like, I'm just saying that because watching this, it's like, we're so proud of it. We fight for what's right. We're wild and we're free. Like the vibe is not it. There's something off. There's something that's not like, it just feels like more establishment people taking over who's in charge. Like it doesn't feel like any sort of like revolutionary act. It doesn't feel like anything sort of, you know what I mean? Like you can't fake it. You can't fake it. And although a lot of people may be on board, a lot of that sort of energy, I think, comes from how desperate and hurting people are. People are so desperate and hurting that they'll take anything at this point. So they're like, okay, Poilievre's here. Like, he'll get rid of Trudeau, right? So like that's kind of the energy that I think gets so many people desperately saying, oh, I love Poilievre. Because that's the thing. It's not that Poilievre is a good leader. They're just so in love with the idea of something else. They're so in love with the idea. Yeah, actually, maybe that's a good summary. Like, it's not that Poilievre is a good leader, okay? It's that we are being forced to put our hand on the stove and burn our hand, and our hand is searing so badly. There's some freak pressing our hand on the stove. We can smell our flesh cooking and burning. We can smell our own flesh burning, being pushed on the stove. We are so desperate to get our hand off of the stove that Poilievre is the idea of taking our hand off the stove. So of course we love Poilievre. It's like the idea, is he going to let me take my hand off the stove? Absolutely. He's the best. He's the fucking best. I love him. How could you not love Poilievre? Right? Like that's just like how desperate we are for something. And I guess the point is like people don't love Poilievre. They love the idea of Poilievre, i.e. it's something different. You know what I mean? Like they love the idea of something new and like everything getting better. So that by virtue of that, like they're in love with the idea of something new. And then that love towards something new is all getting poured into Milhouse here, who's in the right place at the right time. All right, let's get into this. Although I am learning French right now, I assume most of my viewers are not bilingual.
In the room who are ready to put Canada first. Wow! Quelle excellente réception patriotique de nos chers et consoeurs canadiens.
Yeah, I'm assuming you guys aren't bilingual, so I'll just skip over it.
Je remarque que vous êtes ici malgré une tempête de neige. Je sais qu'il y a eu une tempête de neige qui a paralysé la ville de Washington il y a quelques jours. Mais nous, ici, dans la capitale nationale du Canada, on va jamais laisser quelques flocons de neige gâcher le jour. Mais d'abord, il faut m'adresser aux questions qui sont définitives. Vous avez deux questions. Un, pourquoi est-elle avec ce gars-là? J'ai pas de réponse. That you have whenever Anna introduces me. So let's address them right out of the gate. First, what's she doing with that guy? I don't have an answer. Second, why would she leave a tropical country to trade the warm weather for a toque and earmuffs here in Canada? Well, that is the real question, and that is the subject that we're gathered here today to discuss.
Okay, what's going on with the camera operator here? It's like all shaky.
Yes. Because Anna and I understand that our stories would only be possible here in Canada. Only in this country could a refugee from Venezuela, who started in a basement Montreal apartment and the son of a teenage mother, raised by two school teachers, dream of standing on this stage leading Canada's national founding political party.
Is that a good thing, though? Like, is that a good thing? That some refugee can show up and take over the country? You know, like, is that a good thing? Because where I'm standing doesn't look that great, you know? Because that refugee and his husband, with two gay dads, by the way, are about to sell us a fake form of nationalism, fake patriotism, and they're reducing our national identity down to working and being a slave to some corporation. Nothing to do with connecting the nation to its actual ancestral identity. So that's actually fun. Like, I'm actually not psyched about that. That some refugee chick can show up and sell some multicultural version of Canadian identity. So I actually don't think that's a great thing. Sure, I can appreciate people coming from different countries and setting up and blah, 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 yada, yada, yada. But I think we all agree that we got to turn the fucking tap off. I think we need to, not to like pull the ladder up back from under us, but all of our institutions are strained. I don't have to go over all of this, do I? The healthcare, the housing crisis, the job market. It's a fucking mess. And we're still going to be selling, more immigrants, and we're all about just more immigrants and brown people coming here and changing the country. Have we not? I think we've had think we've had enough of that. I think a lot of people are like, maybe we should actually turn the page and get to the Hitler part. Kidding, of course. But I think it's time to turn the page a little bit. And but no, we're still in the same. Like, how is this not a liberal message? Like, how is this not like a liberal fucking? How is that not like? You know what I mean? Like that. Like I'm just kind of checking. I'm like, this is a liberal sort of. This is a liberal talking point from like 10 years ago. That meme is so true. That the conservatives are just what the liberals said 10 years ago. Oh my What a long applause break. Holy smokes.
You see,
what was that even for? Because he has a refugee that's taking over the country and they're cheering for like 10 minutes? Holy
that this country makes to every Canadian, regardless of birthplace or background, that anyone from anywhere can achieve anything.
This is brain rot, dude. This is the same thing. A Canadian is a Canadian is a Canadian. Anyone from anywhere can do anything, and it's whatever, Dan. Canada's just whatever. This totally plays into why we're getting bullied by Trump right now. Because we don't have any solid, we're a jellyfish. We're a jellyfish. It's anyone from anywhere doing anything. So it means fucking nothing. It means nothing. We're off to a really bad start. This is the way worse than I thought it was going to be.
Hard work gets you a great life with a beautiful house on a safe street, protected by brave soldiers under a proud flag.
Soldiers? I mean, come on. How many soldiers? Like, I'm not the military expert. I don't know where Jeremy McKenzie is when you need him, but I'm pretty sure we'd like do not. I really don't think there's that many soldiers protecting us. And like I said, there is even if you do have a home, even if you do have a luxury car and you live in the GTA, actually there might be criminals breaking into your house. So, which, you know, that whole part, that like epidemic of breaking and enters all across the GTA. Well, it's more specifically in Brampton and Mississauga, but anyway, not like nothing like it's like they're sort of trying to get the urgency here, but there's way more troubling things to talk about than this is like liberal slop. This is like circa 2010, 2000s liberal slop. Anyone can show up and work hard, and that's the Canadian dream. This is what we're getting in 2025 by the Conservative Party.
Anna et moi savons que nos histoires ont pu les Canadiens de tous les lieux formidables. Anna and I are deeply grateful that this country made and kept us that promise.
Bro, is bro taking speech lessons and acting lessons? You guys, just the way he said that is crazy.
Anna and I are deeply grateful that this country made and kept us that promise.
Bro is not authentic, man.
And it's actually why we've decided to get into this line of work and fight for it our entire lives. Both of us very young when we did so.
You got to hand it to him. Like you can try. He's been rehearsing this. Like, bro is really doing his best.
It's why that we've put our names on the line. We are in this fight today.
We've put our names on the line? Really, dude? As if he's like doing something. You're part of an establishment fucking political. Give me a fucking break. Putting our lives on the, or what did he say? Did he say putting our lives on the line? What the fuck did he say? We're putting our...
To get into this line of work and fight for it our entire lives. Both of us very young when we did so. It's why that we've put our names on the line.
Like, what are you risking, dude? This is like the least... This guy never takes any fucking risks at all. Ever. He won't even say there's only two genders. He'll make some quirky comment of like, well, is there more than two genders? Like, what a pussy. He's such a pussy in terms of not coming out and saying things. And he's like, we're putting our names out there on the line. It's like you're part of like the notoriously safe and pragmatic Conservative Party that is, yeah, like notoriously pussy. This is like fake. It's fake patriotism, fake bravery. It's crazy, man.
We are in this fight today because we want to restore the promise the country kept for us and assure every single Canadian who works hard can experience the wonderful Canadian promise the country gave us. But that promise did not happen by accident. It took courageous leadership for us to be here today. And we as Conservatives have a special duty to carry on that legacy. Conservatives as the party of Confederation and John A. Macdonald will restore the promise of Canada.
He was a racist. Sir John A. was a racist. Shout out Sir John A.
Our founding leader united our country from the Atlantic to the Pacific and warded off American designs to dominate our continent. In the words of our great first Prime Minister, Conservatives will fight, and I quote, to give us a great, a united, a rich, an improving, a developing Canada, instead
A white and Christian European.
of making us a tributary to American laws, American railways, American bondage, and American tolls. That is the rich conservative legacy to Canada, deliberately resisting American annexation for hundreds of years. Now more than ever, we owe this country, we love this country, and we will fight every day and every way to pass down to our kids the blessings we inherited from those who came before us.
I mean, it's great rhetoric. It's all this is like perfectly formulated to like really try to speak to patriots without actually saying anything. You know, it's like, we're just like Sir John A. Macdonald. We're going to protect our kids and our future's kids and our nation. And it's like, talk about mass immigration, bro. You're not going to talk about mass immigration. You're just going to sell us this fucking bullshit. You know, you're going to be like, hey, look, Sir John A. I'm literally like Sir John A. Macdonald, who founded this nation. It's like, you're enabling an invasion of people. You're calling for direct flights to Amritsar. You're telling people that you're working all day to get direct flights to Amritsar. What the fuck are you? What does that have to do with Sir John A. Macdonald, sir?
The unjustified threats of tariffs and 51st statehood of Donald Trump have united our people to defend the country we love.
I mean, has it? Has it? Most patriots I know from Alberta are like, let's fucking do it. They're like, let's join America. Fuck this. They've like given up, bro. United us? Has it united us? It's made the liberals look like a bunch of hypocrites, obviously. It's made a lot of normies look like infantile retards because they're like, let's boo the American national anthem. I don't want to be America. Hey, man, I totally care about my country, even though they haven't stood up for fucking anything whatsoever. Should I go to this tweet real quick? I think I have it up here. It's such a fucking good tweet, man. It's such a good tweet. This is from, I love this woman, honestly. Most of the time, when it comes to politics, I think women are like way too like cautious when giving their political takes. Why can't you see the top of this? Whatever, you can see the first line. Anyway, it's slatsism. Well, I'll just go like this. Why can't you see the top of that? What's going on here? Bruh. Anyway, she says... Actually, let's watch this clip first.
Inept and corrupt politics. Well, howdy. You know, every day I get questioned as to what my thoughts are on Canada becoming the 51st state of the United States of America. My kin were here before this country got started, and every fucking generation they've been here, they gave their blood, sweat, and fucking tears so that the generations coming after them could have a better place than they had. And now, because of a bunch of inept and corrupt politicians, I got the fucking arrogance of the U.S. president telling me that there's a fucking monetary value to my sovereignty, and I will gladly give my fucking life defending every sacrifice, every dream, and every fucking hope that my family had, everything that they did so that I could be here. Mind your own fucking business, Donald. Square up your own country and leave mine the fuck alone.
Damn. I mean, I certainly appreciate the energy. But, and I guess I'll tack this onto it too. This is someone disavowing people booing the national anthem. He said, a fan of any country that boos a national anthem is absolute trash. No exceptions, any sport. And this is Jay Onright. Remember this guy? You know, Jay Onright, the funny TSN Sports Center. Yeah, TSN Sports Center guy who makes the jokes. He's like, buddy, I love you, but your president says we're not even a country. And with both of these guys, trust me, I appreciate people standing up for Canada and stuff like that, but where is the fucking energy in Canada towards the people leading this fucking nation? Where is the energy in terms of condemning the pussy Poilievre Conservative Party? Where is the energy in condemning Justin Trudeau's traitorous behavior? Where is the energy in being like, oh yeah, there's traitors in the parliament buildings. There's foreign interference that's rife in all of our institutions. Where's and it's like, it's almost like, oh, it's safe. It's easy now for us to attack Trump because it's almost like inconsequential. You know what I mean? Like making a video like that, like, hey buddy, fuck off. Like that's not going to accomplish anything. And maybe it feels good to make a video to get mad at Donald Trump. Yeah. Fuck America, man. But it's like, that doesn't actually accomplish anything. And when it comes to it, maybe he has. So to be fair, maybe he has. I'm talking about the guy in the cowboy hat. But like, is he actually calling out the traitorous behavior of the people in the parliament buildings? Or, you know, the premiers or anything like this? Like, where is that energy actually in Canada? And it's funny because, like, I could imagine, I'm not saying this is the case, but maybe the guy in the cowboy hat, it's like, hey, are you going to call out, like, Justin Trudeau being a fag? Justin Trudeau enabling all of this mass immigration? It's like, no, I don't, I don't want to be racist now. That might be a little, like, I care about my country, but, like, I don't want to upset any fellow Canadians. But I'll get mad at an American. Yeah, fuck the Americans. You know, like it's actually, I think somebody, I forget who else. I'm stealing a talking point from somebody. I apologize. Somebody told this to me, and it's actually really true, which is essentially, so if you're watching, I apologize if this is your talking point and I'm not giving you credit. But they basically said, no, it's okay for white people to get mad at other white people. That's totally fine. So like we can get as angry as we want and hateful as we want towards Americans. But if it's brown foreign invaders screwing up our country and changing the face of our nation and watering down our identity and, you know, enabling foreign interference in our country. No. Can't get mad at the brown people, even though they're causing the worst consequences for what's happening here. Or at least they're kind of like the shield, right? Like you can't criticize it or you'll get called racist or whatever. So like we'll get mad at white Americans, but we can't get mad at the foreigners coming in here and changing our way of life and like watering down our identity and culture and making it a worse place to live. I'm not saying that like all brown immigrants contribute to that, but I think you get the idea, right? That like this tough cowboy will be fine getting mad at Donald Trump, that bad white man south of the border. Hey, this is my country. But at the same time, he'll be like, oh, well, no, it can't be racist. Can't be racist about, well, actually, I'm pro-immigration. I'm not saying he says that. I don't know this guy. But, where's that energy in Canada? Where's the energy actually in Canada pointed towards the actual parliament buildings and what's going on here? Anybody can turn on a camera and say, hey, fuck Donald Trump. That was actually what liberals did for fucking 10 years or something. Where is that energy directed towards the actual corrupt politicians in this country? Oh, you're gonna get called names? You're going to have your fellow Canadians neg you and shame you for having the wrong opinion? Oh, you're not so brave anymore now. Hey? And, maybe that guy's actually super based. I don't know. But anyway, you get the point. Anyway, I wanted to read this tweet from Anna Slats. Slatsism is her Twitter. She says, responding to that video of the guy in the cowboy hat, truly nothing more pathetic than a Canadian boomer miming patriotic bravado in the face of the completely imaginary threat of American invasion when he willingly and happily already gave his entire country away for cheap labor, head pats, and fun treats. Where was the patriotic bravado when every business from Tim Hortons to trucking companies became overrun with nepotistic Indians? Where was this patriotic bravado when his kids and grandkids needed to move out of their towns, cities, and even provinces to find work because they were competing with the entire third world for a single entry-level job? Where was this patriotic bravado when the streets became unsafe to walk at night because the government opened the floodgates to infinity unvetted Africans and Syrians? Where was this patriotic bravado when it became impossible to get a doctor's appointment because the clinics were crammed full of newcomers who were given priority? He wants to declare, "This is my fucking country," over a few jokes, but never had the balls to do it when it really matters. Now it's no one and everyone's country. A post-national state that stands for nothing, believes in nothing, and can do nothing. Hey, if you don't follow Anna Slats on Twitter, like, I don't know what the fuck you're doing. She's got bangers. She also says a lot of great stuff about trans people. So shout outs to her. And she actually kind of nailed it there at the end, because this is going to tie totally into the speech we're hearing from Poilievre right now. Now it's no one and everyone's country. Anyone from anywhere can do anything. Yeah, okay. So this country means nothing then. Cool. A post-national state that stands for nothing, believes in nothing, and can do nothing. Yeah, the only thing is working hard. Come here, work hard. That's what Canada means now, guys. Canada first. We have so much more to get through, guys. I honestly don't even know if I can do it, bro. It's like, oh my God. Oh, fuck. All right, let's keep going. Hey, honestly, send super chats if you want me to keep watching this, because I'm really not feeling. I might actually pull the plug here.
Bond with strength, and strength means leverage. America has leverage, and we have leverage. I will use that leverage. Retaliation is only the beginning. Yes, we need to retaliate. If they put tariffs on our steel and aluminum, I will put tariffs on their steel and aluminum. If they hit us with generalized tariffs, we will respond dollar for dollar. Yes, we will carefully target American goods that we don't need, can produce ourselves, or we can get elsewhere to maximize the impact on Americans while minimizing the impact on ourselves.
I saw a comment in the chat, because I have the chat here in the corner. Stop giving our money to Ukraine.
100% of the proceeds of these counter tariffs will reimburse our businesses and workers that are directly impacted, and the rest will go to tax cuts to relieve Canadians. Not one penny will go to government spending. Use this crisis as yet another liberal excuse to raise taxes or to do money printing, spending, which will only cause inflation. What we will do instead is use our leverage to fight back. We will make sure that Americans know that they will be paying the tariffs they impose on us. I will send the clear message so that everyone in key American states understands that they will pay the price for the decisions to punish our country. Refinery workers, home builders, automakers, and others will need to know that their jobs depend on the goods we sell them, and that tariffing those goods will lower their wages and threaten their jobs. And it doesn't stop there. America cannot power its energy-hungry future without buying surplus power that we make. You know, Google, Amazon, Microsoft, and Meta are all turning to nuclear power, in some cases buying or building their own nuclear plants to power AI data centers. In fact, these data centers, you know, when you do a chat GPT inquiry, it takes 10 times as much electricity as a Google search. Isn't that incredible? That's the power of this AI, artificial intelligence. You know we have artificial intelligence in the government, eh? A different type.
Hilarious. Oh, my God.
The Americans will need nuclear, natural gas, hydro that can power those centers. And we have cold weather here that reduces the cost of cooling them. We can leverage that power while protecting our people. Americans need our radar, surveillance, ongoing cooperation to keep us both safe against intercontinental and supersonic missiles and other threats. They need our minerals, uranium, oil, and gas. Finally, we must remind our American friends that a trade war will simply reduce the funds both our countries have for our shared North American defense. It will make us less safe. As Winston Churchill said, though,
yeah, crazy shaky camera going on right now. Hey, yo, Odious Patton with the $8.88. Next pint is on me. Thanks, Greg. Appreciate it. My heart goes out to you. Appreciate it, man. I mean, I don't know. I'm not going to lie to you guys. I'm not crazy smart when it comes to like geopolitics and the economy and tariffs and trade and all this type of stuff. A lot of this rhetoric sounded pretty decent, though. I think standing up to Trump is definitely the play as far as I can tell.
You can always count on the Americans to do the right thing after exhausting all other possibilities. So let me spell out the possibilities for our American friends and speak directly to them. Option 1. You can carry out an unprovoked attack on our economy. Your consumers will pay more and your workers will make less. Gas prices will skyrocket. You will turn a loyal friend into a resentful neighbor, forced to match tariff with tariff and to seek friends everywhere else. Both our economies will weaken, leaving less money for defense and security, and our enemies will grow stronger. Yeah. Option 1.
I mean, the enemies are in the gates already.
And both our workers make more. Our consumers pay less. The resulting GDP boost allows Canada to further strengthen its border and up our military spending to 2% of GDP faster. Yes. We stop fentanyl, terrorists, supersonic missiles, and other threats. We team up against the unfair trading practices of other countries. Both America and Canada separately, will end up safer, stronger, and richer as a result. Oh, and there's something else. There's something else I'd like to say to our American friends.
And there's something else.
We've always loved you as our neighbors and friends. There's no country with whom we'd rather share a border. The longest undefended border in the world. We know America is the biggest economic and military superpower the world has ever known. And we've been a good neighbor. We fought on the same side of the same wars. We paid with Canadian lives.
Happy Robot says, Trump does not care. That was kind of what was going through my head watching this. Yeah, we're going to get rid of fentanyl. We're going to defend the border. Da, 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 da. Well, sounds great. Sounds great. And because he's not the actual prime minister right now, it's pretty easy for him to say all this stuff. So again, the script writing is decent, but I don't think it really means anything. You know what I mean? It's just kind of like saber rattling, which, is sort of his job. So.
And treasure to fight for America, avenging the 9/11 attacks. Yeah. You have your grievance with us. We have ours with you. But
Whoa. 9/11 mentioned. What? What the fuck?
Yeah. You have your grievance with us. We have ours with you. But I would ask you this question. Which other country would you rather have as your neighbor?
That's a stupid fucking question. We can't move, man. What do you mean? We have to be neighbors.
And if Canada is not your friend, who is? See,
this is honestly just like middle IQ slop for people. Like, if Canada's not your friend, then who is? Oh, wow, good point, Poilievre.
The problem is, at times, we might be too polite, soft-spoken, and humble for our own good. We are slow to anger and quick to forgive, but never confuse our kindness with weakness.
Yeah, mass deportations now. Let's go, deportations. Woo! Do not mistake our kindness as naivety. Deportations. Let's go.
We love our country and our flag. We are a strong people with a proud history as a warrior nation whose soldiers have proven fierce enough to crush the fascists, the communists, and Al-Qaeda, yet humble enough to never once brag about their heroism. We are mild-mannered and made of steel.
I mean, guys, imagine how cool it would be if he was saying this, like, in support of deportations. Like, doing that whole riff of, like, yeah, we stopped communism, fascism, and we will not face this foreign invasion. It needs to stop now. That would be so much cooler, man. That would be so much cooler. Instead of just, like, using it to, like, saber rattle over the trade war. Fuck. And I mean, that's what the attention should be on. It should be crime. Like actually ousting the crime. I'm sure he'll bring that up, but actually, you know what? I'm going to guess that's going to be his segue into the next topic. He's going to talk about crime next. Speaking of cleaning up Canada, because Yeah, I mean, a lot of this is for Canadians. It has nothing to do with actually speaking for to Americans. So that's kind of just a farce.
So let me be clear. We will never be the 51st state. We will bear any burden and pay any price to protect the sovereignty and independence of our country.
That's kind of based. Like, that's actually, you know,
Dénoncer clairement les options qui s'offrent à nos amis américains. Option numéro 1. Vous lancez une attaque.
Like, that in and of itself is, you know, that is good rhetoric, and I kind of do agree with it. Obviously, he's just using it to push his own fake patriotism, but
l'essence augmente.
better than nothing, I guess.
Transformer un allié fidèle en voisin.
Hey, another $2 super chat from Odious Patton. You fired James Top.
Et de chercher des alliés ailleurs.
Shoutouts to James Top.
Les économies de nos deux pays.
Man, imagine a cool rally
Moins d'argent
with
pour
like
notre
actual
défense
based people.
de notre continent.
Like imagine like a cool setup like this, and you know, Jeremy McKenzie comes out and gives a speech.
Option 2.
Ferryman comes out and brings a speech. You got James Top on stage saying stuff.
Et nos consommateurs payent moins.
That'd be pretty cool.
L'augmentation du
And then maybe they
PIB
mix it up.
qui
You know, you
résulte
get
permet de renforcer
you
encore
bring
la
up
frontière et d'augmenter
what's her
nos
face,
dépenses
Kareem
militaires
Assad,
à
to say a few
2 PIB
things.
plus rapidement.
Oh man, my heart goes out to you. Thanks for the super chat. I
On
appreciate
va
it.
stopper le fentanyl, les terroristes, les missiles supersoniques et d'autres menaces. Certains griefs avec vous aussi.
I missed the 9/11 mention. I'm not gonna find it. I'm just gonna keep going.
Nos amis américains. Voyez-vous, il y a un problème. C'est qu'on parfois, on est trop poli, trop doux, trop
You could tell he's practiced for this so many times. It's pretty funny. It's kind of cute, actually. It's kind of endearing. A little bit endearing.
Notre pays et notre drapeau. Oui, on va payer le... But let's be honest.
Let's be honest.
We have to be prepared for the worst. Simply put, we can no longer depend on the Americans alone for our trade. We can no longer think of them as our backup defense. These threats, my friends, are a wake-up call. We should be the wealthiest and most self-reliant economy in the world today, given our natural resources. But instead, here we are. We have the fourth biggest supply of oil, yet we must import 179 million barrels of foreign oil every year because of the liberal No New Pipelines Act, which is still law today. We are the fifth biggest supplier of natural gas, but we can't export a single cubic foot of it overseas because we don't have a single liquefaction facility. The Liberals, according to Trudeau and Carney, they don't believe there is a business case for LNG plants. We have the fewest homes per person in the G7, even as we have 10 times as much land to build on as the second biggest country, because taxes and bureaucracy block home building, leaving our youth without houses.
I mean, there's also the Canadian Shield, which makes it very difficult to build infrastructure on a large part of the landmass of Canada. But I really hate this argument of like, we got so much land to build homes. And it's like, well, it's really cold up here. Majority of the population lives close to the border. And obviously the most painstaking thing is he does not bring up immigration. He does not bring up the radical demographic change, the fact that we're one of the fastest growing countries on the planet right now because of mass immigration, not because of childbirth, but because of mass immigration. Like, that's a wild stat that obviously he's not going to bring up. But, yeah.
We sell twice as much to the Americans as we sell to Canadians in other provinces because trade barriers governments impose block us from selling and buying with each other. We have the third most farmland per capita.
So just real quick, I wanted to bring up the stuff he was talking about oil. Maybe we'll watch this real quick. There's a really good documentary called Over a Barrel, which explains how the Americans have exploited our oil and gas industry. This is the trailer.
Those people that are coming in that are trying to raise the standard of environmentalism, I commend those people. I have all the time in the world to talk to them. You want to talk about how to make our world a better place? Great, I'm all for it. But I have no time for the people that are obstructionists, that want to promote civil disobedience, want to provoke violence. I have no time for those people, and I got no patience for them.
Over the last 10 years or so, I've been following the funding behind environmental activism. I've traced about $600 million that's come into Canada.
$600 million came into Canada to fund anti-tar sands activism. $600 million was funded into activism in Canada to make Canada hate its own natural resource industry. That's where the whole tar sand thing came from. Anyway, let's keep watching.
I don't think Canada really understands that the real war here is an outside force pitting Canadians against Canadians.
It's a very deliberate strategy to landlock Canadian oil.
We run the risk of losing economic benefits that could change our communities for the better.
We need to start lifting up not just our First Nation communities, but our own communities. It breaks my heart to see that there's so many empty businesses.
Why are we not celebrating our own industry and supporting it to get out there? I think this nation needs to wake up.
You don't spend your time on environmental protection and getting First Nation youth who are unemployed and angry. Don't get them to protest against projects. It's the same teenagers who commit suicide day in and day out in our communities. It is so unfair and cruel. It's a human crisis that these environmentalists don't care about.
They don't come back and help plant trees. They don't come back and help the community members get jobs. They just leave them with nothing.
No, I go back to the funders.
To landlock the tar sands so their crude oil could not reach the international market where it could fetch a higher price per barrel. Corp ethics.
And it's so hypocritical that
the tar sands campaign to constrain the growth of tar sands production by increasing the perception of financial risk.
Funders from the United States who made their fortune in oil and gas now send money into Canada to shut down Canadian oil and gas. It's corporate warfare on a global scale.
We need to get it together. It's time that this comes to an end.
Yeah, it's great. Honestly, great documentary. I'm pretty sure it's for free on Facebook. It's from 5 years ago. Shout outs one time to Vivian Krause. I feel like not enough people talk about that $600 million from America. I'm pretty sure it's from like the Rockefeller Foundation and the Tides Foundation or something too. I think I saw someone said like Soros in chat. Yeah, I'm pretty sure. But essentially like massive oil tycoons from America bought out our country and convinced us to hate ourselves, to hate our own oil and gas with like $600 billion. I like to think of it as, I used to work in advertising for radio, and, with radio advertising can be very effective, but to do it effectively, like you need to buy a lot of it. You need to be like on the radio like every single day, like for at least like 3 months if you want to be super effective. But if you have the budget and you're smart and like it fits the demo, you would go for like a whole year. Like you'd buy the whole year of advertising because you really get in people's brains when you're there every day. But and then like the pricing would obviously get larger if it's a larger station for 52 weeks. That would be a big buy. But we'd have like the little menu of like, hey, advertiser, like this is what you can buy, this is what you can get in terms of our airtime, access to the audience. And I just imagine there would be a menu like in the Parliament buildings or with like these oil tycoons where they're like, okay, well, how much would it cost to completely demoralize the nation, make them hate their own oil, so we can landlock their oil and send it to America. It's like, well, Canada, that's only like $500 million actually. Oh, really? Only 500 million? Okay. Yeah, we can do that. Yeah. We'll get that. We'll get the option where we convince Canada to hate itself, hate its own oil, so we can exploit their natural resources. Great. Awesome. And that's what happened. But I bring that all up because, like most political issues, a politician simplifies it and says, hey, this is what we need to know. Hey, it was Trudeau that did this. And it's like, well, we actually have the receipts. Like, there's a documentary that actually covers this and that we know about. And yeah, it was Soros, or it was like these organizations. So yeah, but you just kind of get the stupid, dumbed down version in speeches like this.
In the world, yet food prices rose 37% faster in Canada over the last 5 years than they did in the U.S. because the Carney-Trudeau carbon tax on farmers and truckers rose the price. Now, what have the Carney-Trudeau Liberals done about this? Well, they doubled the debt. They doubled housing costs. They doubled food bank lineup.
I'm just so tired of like the economic stuff, man.
They raised taxes on work and investment and have driven an astonishing, eye-watering $500 billion to the United States in Canadian investment that now pays to create American jobs. All of this before a single tariff was applied. Now, Liberals would like to instrumentalize the tariff threat to distract from the record of the Carney-Trudeau Liberals over the last 9 years. They say that we should just forget about all the damage they've done to our country because of the tariffs that might be coming down the road. In fact, the opposite is true. Think of it, my friends. If Carney-Trudeau policies did this much economic harm before tariffs, imagine the devastation they would cause after tariffs. We need...
Like, this is... And the thing is, he's not even like incorrect about this, but like, it's just so nerdy. Like, it's so like, if you're like an economics major, you're holding on to every word of this. It's amazing. Oh my God. We're so back. This is the best speech of all time. I think I saw someone say that in chat. The chat. Oh, it's the fucking, it's the pleb. Of course it is. Speech of a lifetime. We are so back. Talking when he spoke about tariffs. Oh my God, I wet myself when Poilievre talked about tariffs. That was so freaking epic. Talk about immigration. Talk about foreign interference, please. Jeez, it's that much to ask. And if you did the math, someone should make a video about this. I should make a video about this if someone hasn't already. But just to break down the math when it comes to this influx of newcomers, of new people living here. You know, how does that affect our taxes through having to pay for healthcare? How does that affect the kind of trickle effect of the job market and like having that high, low demand and high supply of employees, right? But of course, we don't look at those numbers. We don't want to look at. We just want to look at just the money numbers and all of that, not how immigration might affect all of it. Let's just ignore that part.
We need a prime minister who will put Canada first. Our workers, our businesses, our economy, our borders, our military.
Here's the thing. Our workers, our military, our borders. But to be Canadian, you can be from anywhere. It just matters where you're going. What does he say again? It's like if you can born anywhere, do anything, and be anyone. So it's like, what is this our? There is no our. There is no our collective anything if Canada is for everyone, right? So this is just unfortunately, guys, you know this already, but unfortunately, with this rebrand, this was supposed to be a rebrand of Poilievre, by the way. Because instead of saying carbon tax election, he's like Canada first. But this rebrand is essentially the evolved version of Justin Trudeau, we're getting an evolved version that's more lame and like a cringy nerd, but so like not as charismatic, which I guess we have that working for us, but it's just an evolved, more economic rhetoric. But it is a more evolved version of Trudeau, i.e. it's more globalist. It's like the same post-nationalist. Like there's going to be a few breadcrumbs thrown in our direction in terms of the economy and lower taxes. But, Canada is whatever, guys. Canada is the rainbow flag. En français? Oui.
We must. Well, I need you too. Are you with me? Thank you. I thought so.
Wow, some charisma.
We must be able to stand on our own 2 feet, no longer helplessly dependent on the Americans. You know, the media is now saying that I should change my entire platform because of the tariff threat.
Bro, does he even have a platform? He doesn't he hardly reveals anything about his platform.
In fact, the Trump tariff threats have proven conservatives right on everything. It's true. Everyone now admits, or they claim to admit, that conservatives were right on the liberal capital gains tax hike, that conservatives were right on the carbon tax, on pipelines, on LNG, on fentanyl, the borders, immigration, and the need to celebrate rather than cancel our proud history and country.
I mean, bro does the same.
Et qu'ont fait les libéraux de Carney et Trudeau? Ils ont doublé la dette, doublé le coût de logement, doublé l'usage des banques.
I mean, we've been right about everything. We've been right about this. We've been right about that. Yeah. Yeah, I guess. Odious Patton with another $2. He says, most disappointing part is no Apple. I know, right? Where the freak is the Apple, guys? Scotian lady says, Millhouse, of course, had to get a discount mail order bride as a beard. We all know that is not a straight man. Chat's cooking tonight. That's funny. Been Loved says, this seems like heavy campaigning for no election, lol. Yeah, we'll see. I think it's going to be in the fall. I don't think it's going to be in the spring. I think he's 5'8", says Art Story.
Notre économie, nos frontières et notre armée. On doit être capable de nous débrouiller seuls, sans dépendre les peuples. And now they say they agree with all my policies. You know, imitation is sur les os, de taxes sur les gains en capital, la taxe carbone, les pipelines, le GNL, le fentanyl, les frontières, l'immigration et la nécessité de célébrer plutôt que d'annuler notre histoire et notre pays.
Okay.
You know, it's funny. First, the Liberals said, Poilievre has no policies. And then they said, okay, he does, but they're really scary. And now they say, they agree with all my policies. You know, imitation is the highest form of flattery.
Okay, this guy. The kind of interesting thing about that is the Liberals were the first ones to oppose immigration before you, basically, before Poilievre. Like, the Liberals were the ones to actually come out and basically say, yeah, maybe we fucked up with the immigration thing. We need to make some changes. We need to maybe deport some of these people. Which is them kind of almost taking more of like a PPC stance, and like better than you have, Poilievre. Like sure, that might be true on certain policies, but like on immigration specifically, I don't think that Trudeau really stole your policy necessarily. I think they actually stole a PPC policy. They actually took something further right from Maxime Bernier to say, actually, maybe we do need to reverse immigration. And then you were kind of there, kind of like, oh, yeah, that's always been my talking point. Ridiculous.
But you cannot believe them. My friends, it is not realistic that we would believe a party 60 days before election suddenly reversing itself on absolutely everything. If you want conservative policies, you will have to vote conservative.
They passed Bill C-4, guys. They're not that conservative. Bring it home. Oh my God, bro. Like this guy's so antithetical to conservatism too. Like it's how far we've fallen, man.
Take the carbon tax. Take the carbon tax. Yeah, and you know what to do with it. You know, before the tariff threats, we were talking about a carbon tax election. But now with the...
Yeah, you wouldn't shut up about it, actually. You would not shut up about the carbon tax election. It was kind of embarrassing, Trudeau. Or, fuck. He might as well be Trudeau.
These threats, I have to consider.
Do you not think he's kind of been like, you know, kind of, if you squint...
See it, I've had to reflect on whether it is a top-of-mind issue. And after much reflection, I have concluded that the carbon tax will be an even bigger issue in the coming election than we thought.
Oh, shit! This is what I mean. Like, this is... Who is this for? Who is this for? Like, that last part was like a Ottawa bubble Conservative Party staffer. Like, whoa, man. The carbon tax? Yo. This is just so like our country is so lame. It's unbelievable.
Combining Trump's tariffs with Carney's carbon tax will decimate our industries and destroy the jobs of our workers. The worst Liberal tax of all has been the carbon tax, championed by Trudeau and his economic advisor, Mark Carney, whose only complaint was that the tax was not high enough. Now he plans a pre-election trick. Next month, just days before he called...
I just want to point out that last kind of that sentence. He was like, we got the Trump coming after us, and we got Carney, and then there's Trudeau, and da-da. Like, this guy he can only define himself and his vision in opposition to everybody else because he has so little to offer. He has so little to offer as a vision. He has so little to offer as a sort of, you know, powerful message. Like, break down every single one of his messages, and it's negating something else. It's getting rid of the carbon tax, or it's lower taxes, or it's a bunch of gobbledygook of you're from here, I'm from there, we're all from everywhere. Hey, we're all Canada and we don't care. Like, it's just a bunch, like, you know, it's just so vapid. Like, there's nothing there. There's nothing of substance. So that's why he's constantly saying, hey, Trump's doing this and I'm fighting against him, and Carney and Trudeau and da-da-da. Like, you know, if he was making the election about something other than what Trudeau did bad and how I'm going to fix it, you know, like there'd be so much more to talk about. You know, again, saying that you want to stop the radical demographic change happening. That would be so awesome. That would be amazing, guys. We're going to have it soon. It's going to happen eventually. Soon.
Calls the election, Mr. Carney will pause the carbon tax, hide it out of sight so that you won't see it for the duration of the election period. And the media will tell you, forget all about it until the election is over, at which time, God forbid, if he were reelected, he would bring in a much bigger tax that has no rebate whatsoever. He said just a few days ago that he doesn't want to, quote, axe the tax. He wants to change the tax. Right. He will take the change right out of your pocket. Mr. Carney's new and bigger carbon tax will help America take every industrial job from Canada. They will be popping the champagne at the Trump Tower when the Carney carbon tax comes in. Our industrial towns will become ghost towns if Carney gets his way. La nouvelle taxe plus élevée de Mark Carney va aider les États-Unis à prendre emploi et
Are you guys not like? I can't believe so many people. How are we sitting through this right now? Like all of this tax talk. And hey guys, I'm rebranding, but I'm also going to talk about taxes for like 20 minutes.
The coming election will decide whether Canadians want Mr. Carney's sneaky, job-killing, inflationary carbon tax, or whether they want to axe the tax for everyone, for real, forever, with the common sense conservative.
Remember the thing I said about taking the hand off the stove? Like, it's really, what he said is not really that exciting, you know? But it's like, yeah, can we get rid of the high cost of living? Yeah, finally.
Now, I know...
Is he not still doing the thing with...
Mr. Carney's going to try to plagiarize my policies right before the election. Policies he has long opposed. But don't believe a word. In just a few months ago, did you hear about this? Mr. Carney moved his company headquarters to New York, Donald Trump's hometown, shifting jobs and investment into the U.S., just like Trump wanted. He opposed pipelines in Canada while his company bought them in the Middle East. He supported Trudeau's carbon tax in Canada while he profited off of investing in coal in the United States of America.
This is just so disinteresting to me. It's like, again, like we're just a-logging. We're just talking about Mark Carney. Did you know Mark Carney did this or Mark Carney did that? What are you going to do, man? What are you going to do? Are you going to import more Indians again? Is that why you're calling for direct flights to Amritsar, India? It's just none of this is a good sign.
He put his profit before our people. Carney cashed in, Canadians lost out. If he wins, Canada loses. But Canadians will win, and we will do it with a new...
It actually makes me... This speech is actually making me appreciate Trudeau. This is going to sound weird, but it's making me appreciate Trudeau and his, like, sociopathy. Like, the way in which... Because in a Trudeau speech, it makes less sense than what Poilievre is talking about. But Trudeau is really good at this sort of emotionally manipulative tone of voice to like draw you in and like bring you with him in this very like dramatic way of speaking. And it's very creepy, obviously, and it's done in a very manipulative way to like very, very bad ends. Like, I'm not like supporting it or anything, but at least he has this like evil type of charisma. Like, at least there's just some sort of charisma that's like evil about it. That's actually sort of compelling and entertaining. Like with Milhouse, it's just kind of like this guy trying to be this like hero, leader, savior guy. And like the script's kind of there, I guess. It's kind of there. But it's like he's talking about issues just like money and saving money and stuff, and like we're gonna get you more dollars in your pocket. And it's just fucking lame. It makes me almost like miss like the manipulative evil guy, because at least he's like charismatic.
Bring it home economic plan. We will bring home our jobs, investment, and companies and break our dependence on the United States. We will unleash a fierce free enterprise economy to bring home control of our economic future from outside forces. We will stand on our own 2 feet, be masters of our own destiny, and be in charge of our own future. Le Canada va être autonome, souverain, et va se tenir debout.
Oh my God, we still have 30 minutes?
Libérer les entrepreneurs, récolter nos ressources, fabriquer nos propres produits, échanger nos
That's brutal, guys.
bâtir des maisons pour nos jeunes, and making stuff and hisser notre drapeau.
Guys, if you're enjoying the stream, then send in a super chat. If you want to support the documentary that I'm working on, there's going to be a trailer dropping soon within the next week. If you want to check that out, go to givesendgo.com/savefreespeech. Yeah, I think people are going to really like the trailer. I'm going to hop away for a second, grab another drink. but I'll be back in just a sec. Hold tight. You guys get to listen to him in French. I apologize, but...
Le travail, libérer les entrepreneurs, récolter nos ressources, fabriquer nos propres produits, échanger entre nous, bâtir des maisons pour nos jeunes, renforcer nos frontières et notre armée, honorer notre histoire et hisser notre drapeau. Nous serons véritables maîtres chez nous. Axing the carbon tax is only the beginning. We will go ahead with the biggest and most patriotic tax cut in Canada's history, the Bring It Home tax cut.
The Bring It Home tax cut. Okay. Hey, we're talking about taxes.
On energy, work, home building, investment, and making stuff in Canada. We will axe the sales tax on new homes, saving you $50,000 and sparking 30,000 extra homes built every single year, which will mean more jobs for our carpenters, plumbers, electricians, and trades workers.
Is it going to be low? Is it going to be a bunch of quickly built slums for like the hordes that are coming into Canada? Is that like we need to build homes faster for all the people flooding in here? Okay, are they going to have jobs, or is it going to be their jobs to just build more and more homes and more homes and more homes for the people coming in, and we're just going to be like a slum paradise here in Canada? And that's the thing. Like I made a video about like the vision. What is the vision with this Conservative Party? And it's building more homes to accommodate the foreign invasion that is continuing. Because, we're 30 minutes in. No mention of immigration. He mentioned it once, but not like in opposition to it. But it's like, we're going to build a whole bunch more homes so they don't have to stay in the hotels anymore. This is kind of the biggest issue. It's kind of the biggest issue. If you want to conserve the nation, you should probably conserve the fact that the demographics are radically changing because of mass immigration. I don't know. If you actually want to conserve something, possibly. Just a thought. But he's not going to bring it up.
Éliminer la taxe de vente sur les maisons neuves. Ça va permettre de bâtir 30 000 maisons supplémentaires par an.
Thank you for the $2 unacceptable living. Hurrah! I appreciate it. And the $2 from Modius Patton. We have no military. Cheers, Greg. I know.
We will cut bureaucracy, consultants, and corporate welfare. We will impose a law. The waste of our money will end when I'm Prime Minister, and we will impose the same law on government spending that you impose on your household spending. We will be required to find $1 of savings for every new dollar of spending that comes in.
He's going to save money? Oh my God. This is a common sense revolution. And sure, obviously I agree with some of this stuff, cutting some government bloat, but again, it's peanuts. It's peanuts in the grand scheme of things.
The idea is to once again produce our resources and upgrade and add value to them here in Canada.
I mean, it's crazy to me that people are so excited about this speech. It's crazy, like with everything going on, because the thing is, even apolitical people are starting to notice like the demographic change thing. Like they're starting to notice the press on the job market, the press on the healthcare system, the weird things happening with, I don't know, fill in the blank. It could be. You can talk about the increase of traffic accidents, of all these truck drivers suddenly have no idea how to drive during the winter. Are they Canadian? Did they just get here? Normies, apolitical people are starting to notice this. And this Conservative Party is not tapping into that at all. They're not even tapping. Like this is a lightning rod to get people to pay attention to you and actually start to give a shit about politics and start that conversation. And Poilievre is not doing it. because he's basically part of the same agenda of disintegrating the Canadian identity, what it means to be Canadian. And he's doing it by selling this sort of like fake patriotism. So it's really insidious. It's really gross. It's real. Like, I would definitely call it evil. And all we get is like, hey, we're going to save a little bit of money here. Okay. Really seems like you're just the guy who's greasing us up to fuck us right now. But anyway, hey, you'll get a pay cut. The healthcare industry will be totally fucked because so many people are coming in here and we're not curbing that whatsoever. And, although we did give you a tax cut, we have to pay for all of this some way, and we do that through taxes right now. So there you go. But bring it home. Anyone from anywhere.
The Liberals drove $500 billion of investment to the United States, mostly by blocking our resource sector. They did this with the No New Pipelines Law, C-69, that has blocked the Energy East pipeline, blocked the Northern Gateway pipeline, and countless other projects. In fact, much worse than that, this is the situation we're in. I want you to paint this picture here. Not only can we not sell our oil to the world, we can't even sell it to ourselves. Do you know that the oil that Quebec imports from Alberta has to go through the United States of America, and if we ever...
Happy Robot says, the flood is destroying what little culture we have left. Oof. Yeah, that's rough. That's, yeah. True.
If we got into a real trade dust up with the Americans, they could even cut off the supply of our oil to ourselves. Now, why is that? Because they blocked the East-West pipeline that would have bound our country together and allowed us to sell Western oil to Eastern markets. Mr. Trudeau, with his economic advisor, Mr. Carney, said also that there is no business case to sell gas to countries like Germany, Japan, Greece, and others that were begging for it. Now, the Americans and Qataris are beating us to the punch. So we sell our natural gas internally for $4, while the world price, or the price in Europe, is $13. So let's give a little economic lesson to Mr. Carney.
God, more economics. I can't stand it. And the thing is, with a smart politician, with a politician like Trump, who is giving a speech, he will mention this stuff that he's talking about. He'll mention the taxes. He'll mention the oil stuff. Like, he'll mention the tariffs, but they'll do it in much more of a passive way. It'll be like a short thing here or a short thing there. And then the rest of it will be more cultural. It'll be more, really telling stories, pulling at the heartstrings. Half of this has felt like math class or something. So much of the bulk of this guy's speech has just been painfully economic. He's getting to the point where he's like telling people to write down different numbers and we're going to get an economics lesson now. It's unbelievable. Yo, huge super chat. Yes. From Silverman and Buddy, $100. I appreciate it. Be like Silverman and Buddy. Send those super chats in. Thank you so much. Keep digging, Greg. It's all the same story, just different color of the banner. So true. So true. Well said. Thank you so much for the $100 super chat, sir. I appreciate it, Silverman and Buddy. If you want to support what I'm doing, of course, send in a super chat. You can also check out there's going to be a preview here soon on this Give Send Go page, but it's givesendgo.com/save-free-speech. I appreciate the support, guys. There is going to be a lot of stuff coming. I'm just getting together this preview right now, and it's taking a lot of time to go through all these interviews and make a preview out of it. But thanks for that huge super chat, Silverman and Buddy. Love to see it. Let's get back into this. We still got like 20 minutes or something. 30 minutes. Oh my gosh.
Carney and Mr. Trudeau, if you have something for $4 and you can sell it for $13, that's a profit. Now, if you can do that billions and billions of times, that's a business case, right?
Oh, man, got him.
This all raises the question. I have a serious question for you. Think about this. Do you think that we could build the Canadian Pacific Railway today? Or would there be some squeaky, radical protester chaining himself to a tree like Minister Guilbeault?
See, this was actually closer to something interesting. Like, he was starting to almost vilify the left. And he could have been like, you know, these purple-haired freaks. Imagine he said something like that. That would be sick. That would be awesome. If he actually, like, vilified the left and said, these people are a bunch of dumb idiots. Something like that. Dumb idiots. You know, liberals they're kind of dumb idiots. But again, it's still very safe. It's still very nice. All these people protesting, like, you know, it could be so much better, guys.
Again, the keep it in the ground crowd in the Liberal Party were doing these damaging policies. Imagine if they did this much damage before the tariffs, how dangerous they would be after tariffs. This tariff crisis has proven Conservatives were right also about natural resources. And that's why we need a plan to bring home production to this country. And that's what we will have. My common sense plan to unleash the production of our resources will allow us to be self-sufficient. We will incentivize Indigenous leaders to support these projects by letting companies pay a share of their federal corporate taxes to local First Nations. Second, I'm announcing...
And this is why he doesn't vilify the left, because he is part of the left. We need to prioritize Indigenous leaders. Man, that's like this. Like the switch up is crazy. And I was going to add to that point, which is, you know who does vilify their political opponents? Liberals in Canada, constantly. They are constantly making backhanded remarks and implying that right-wing people are like inherently pieces of shit who don't even have empathy, and all sorts of horrible things that were inherently racist, inherently this, colonizer, blah. Like, this happens all the time on a regular basis by basically every single leftist politician, and it's in all of our mass media constantly. Maybe not always like strong in your face, but like there's a slow drip. Conservatives are pieces of shit in so many words. And this guy will never do the same thing. And honestly, I would love to see more of it from Max Bernier, of like just like openly vilifying the liberals. I mean, he does do it, but we need more of it. We need more of it. It needs to be done in like a strategic, compelling way too. We need visuals of like calling, you know, visual language of like this purple-haired freaks. I've had enough of these purple-haired freaks that support Trudeau. Something like this. But he's too afraid to do that. And then he jumps straight into we need Indigenous leaders, number one. Oh, yeah. Lots is going to change, guys. Lots is going to change.
And by the way, that will allow First Nations to spend that on clean drinking water and a better future for their people. I want the First Nations people of Canada to be the richest people in the world.
Aren't they under like a reservation system, which is like this?
Second,
this like communist. They're like. The Indigenous have they're under the Indian Act still, which is like this archaic, like communist system where they're not even allowed to like own public property or something. But then again, it's a good. He set himself up for a good layup of like clean drinking water. So, you know, woo.
I am announcing today that within 60 days of taking office, I will repeal the unconstitutional No New Pipelines Law, C-69.
That's a PPC policy, right?
We will replace it with a new law that protects nature and gets projects approved within a year of an application. Third, I will rapidly approve LNG plants, pipelines, mines, and other key projects. Et ça inclut GNL Québec, un projet auquel le Bloc s'oppose et que le gouvernement libéral à Ottawa refuse. Je suis le seul chef et les conservateurs sont le seul parti qui a soutenu ce projet depuis le début. GNL Québec va permettre de briser notre dépendance sur les Américains et briser.
I'm pretty sure PPC has had this pipelines policy for like years. Oh, she even brings up the researcher Vivian. I brought up this documentary earlier. Researcher Vivian Krause has spent years documenting a well-organized campaign to landlock Canada's oil, funded by American foundations such as the Rockefeller Fund and the Tides Foundation. Cool. That's on the. I didn't know that was on the PPC website. Kind of cool. Yeah, but repealing these bills, like PPC's been talking about that for years. And, you know, obviously it's good. It's good that he's finally saying this, but like, this is a no-brainer. This is a no-brainer. A lot of this stuff is no-brainers, right? And obviously it's going to be good for the economy, blah, blah, blah. But it's like I said earlier, it's like we're aspiring to like common sense. Hey, imagine being able to live. That's our grand vision. You know, imagine being able to live with like a family and stuff and owning a home. That's our grand vision, is being able to live. It's like, yeah, I was kind of hoping for more than that.
La dépendance des Européens sur la Russie. Les libéraux et le Bloc, I stand with the 74% of Quebecers who support building pipelines to transport oil and gas.
Yeah, we're speeding this up.
Y a-t-il de l'acceptabilité sociale pour ce projet au projet GNL Québec? Dépendre des Américains. En fait, je crois qu'une pipeline transnationale, a new country that we're going to use to become less dependent on the Americans alone. Great country. Nice people. They speak French and English. Cold climate. It's called Canada. Right now, we have tariff barriers between our provinces that are almost as big as the one that President Trump is threatening. That's why we sell twice as much to the Americans as we do to ourselves. This is madness, my friends. Within 30 days of becoming Prime Minister, I will bring together the premiers with the aim to remove the hundreds of pages of carve-outs and exemptions in the Canada Free Trade Agreement that slow or stop goods from moving from province to province. We will set up a blue seal test and trade that provinces test and licensing process so that provinces can accept and allow doctors and nurses from all across the country. And furthermore, we need to allow the 20,000 immigrant doctors and 32,000 immigrant nurses to quickly take a test and get to work, reducing wait times in our hospitals.
Let's go. Immigrants mentioned, yes.
And to get the deal done, this will boost our GDP. Billions of dollars of extra tax revenue will result not from higher rates,
guys,
but from a
I don't know if I can do it, man.
freer economy. And I will use the extra federal revenue from free trade to pay a bonus to each province that voluntarily knocks down barriers and opens up its market to fellow Canadians. Pour conclure l'entente, je vais offrir aux provinces une prime de libre-échange. Sure. Because they've lost count. Or perhaps they just can't count. That might be the answer. My Canada First plan will deploy military helicopters and surveillance to the borders, add 2,000 new border agents, expand the powers to patrol the full border, install new high-powered scanners, towers, and drone systems, and track departures so that we actually know if the people deported have left the country.
Whoa. Deportations? Hold on. What did I miss here?
That might be the answer. Into Canada. Now,
shit.
It's fellow Canadians.
Does he actually say something?
And to get the deal done, this will boost our GDP. Billions of dollars of extra tax revenue will result not from higher rates, but from a bigger, freer economy. And I will use the extra federal revenue from free trade to pay a bonus to each province that voluntarily knocks down barriers and opens up its market to fellow Canadians. Pour conclure l'entente, je vais offrir aux provinces une prime de libre-échange. On va les encourager d'éliminer les barrières pour qu'on puisse avoir un vrai libre-marché pan-canadien pour tous les Canadiens. Now, it's funny. Well, people can't currently bring alcohol across Canada. They can easily traffic deadly doses of fentanyl, guns, and illegal migration into Canada.
Illegal migration. Okay.
We must take back control of crime, drugs, and the border from the radical, borderless, woke ideology of the Carney-Trudeau Liberals.
Dude, some of these sentences are like bonkers. Like like they pass these sentences. They pass these sentences through the focus group so many times that it's like it's literally just weird code words. Like, does this even mean anything to an apolitical person?
Bring alcohol across Canada. They can easily traffic deadly doses of fentanyl, guns, and illegal migration into Canada. We must take back control of crime, drugs, and the border from the radical, borderless, woke ideology of the Carney-Trudeau Liberals.
Radical,
They allow
borderless, woke ideology of the
99% of
Carney-Trudeau
shipping
Liberals.
containers to enter uninspected.
What the fuck?
The government's own report says there are as many as 500,000 people here illegally.
Oh!
But they admit they're not quite sure because they've lost count. Or perhaps they just can't count. That might be the answer.
Okay.
My Canada First plan will deploy military helicopters and surveillance to the borders, add 2,000 new border agents, expand the powers to patrol the full border, install new high-powered scanners, towers, and drone systems, and track departures so that we actually know if the people deported have left the country.
Deported.
Actuellement, les gens.
Why doesn't he say we're going to deport these people? So we know the people deported. Okay. Sounds like you're going to deport them. Why don't you just say that more boldly? We're going to deport the people who are here illegally. You going to say it?
Mais ils peuvent facile faire entrer des doses mortelles de fentanyl, des armes à feu. Incroyable. Mon plan, les hélicoptères. Qui parmi ceux qui sont... It's just a challenge. It's just a challenge. That's worse than the gun crime. Qui parmi ceux qui sont expulsés a vraiment quitté le pays? C'est ça le gros bon sens. The Liberals... And we, my friends, even worse than the gun crime that our open borders policy has brought us is the fentanyl deaths.
Like, we get 20 minutes talking about taxes, and look what he just does here.
Les hélicoptères militaires. Qui, parmi ceux qui sont expulsés, a vraiment quitté le pays? C'est ça le gros bon sens.
We get 20 minutes of tax stuff.
20
minutes of taxes, and then listen to this next sentence.
And we, my friends, even worse than the gun crime that our open borders policy has brought us is the fentanyl deaths.
Like, one throwaway sentence of, like, even worse than the gun crime. Talk more about the gun crime. Get people excited about the gun crime and how horrible that is. You know, like, that is something that's interesting and exciting, and even apolitical people will be like, wow, he said something crazy about stopping crime. Maybe that's coming, but this, like, the very first mention of gun crime is like, you know, even worse than the gun crime. Gun crime? Talk more about the gun crime. You know, am I crazy? Odious Patton with $2. Thank you for the super chat, sir. He says, let's deport your wife first. Forget Canada first. Let's deport your wife first. Should she be here? Funny. But he basically, he hasn't even said we're going to deport these people. He says we're going to find the people who weren't deported. Once again, like, there could be cool sound bites, but that actually might activate people to be anti-immigration, and he doesn't want to do that. Because I don't think that's really part of his plan. I don't think he actually wants, you know, white Christian Canadians to, like, wake up and be like, hey, maybe we should sort of, you know, think of ourselves as a group, as a country with our own distinct ancestry and identity. He doesn't want that. That's not on Poilievre's bingo card. That's not what he's trying to do here. So, yeah, I do appreciate the super chat because, like, I don't know if I'm going to make it through this, guys. I know there's only 15 minutes, but bruh, this is getting rough. He's talking about crime now. Let's see what comes up.
Mr. Carney recently said that fentanyl is not a crisis, just a challenge. He should tell that to the families of the 50,000 Canadians who've lost their lives to these horrible poisonous drugs in the last 9 years.
I don't mean to laugh. I'm just laughing at the way he like stumbled over that like supposed to be like impactful sentence about drug overdoses.
Who've lost their lives to these horrible poisonous drugs in the last 9 years. Do you know we've lost more people to fentanyl overdoses in this decade than we lost fighting in the Second World War? The Liberal laws C5 and C75 allow drug kingpins out on easy bail and house arrest. They've legalized fentanyl possession and given out tax-funded opioids that ultimately get resold to children. They ban you from using a plastic straw, but allow you to use cocaine. So next time you're snorting up, just make sure you use a paper straw to save the world.
It's kind of funny. It's kind of funny. That's not bad.
This radical liberal drug liberalization has killed 200% more people a year. Recently, a lab in BC was shut down with enough fentanyl and ingredients to kill 95 million people. Selling large amounts of fentanyl is like firing bullets into a crowded room. You might not know who you're killing, but it is certain that someone will die. So we must treat mass fentanyl traffickers for what they are, mass murderers.
Let's go. Okay. This would go great with more deportation rhetoric, just saying.
Will repeal Liberal laws C5 and C75 and bring in mandatory life sentences for trafficking and producing over 40 milligrams of fentanyl.
Okay, it's kind of based. Not gonna lie, kind of based. I actually like that. This is actually better.
40 milligrams is enough to kill 20 people. We will lock up and throw away the murderers who are killing our families. More important than what I will do is why I will do it. You know, it shouldn't have taken President Trump to get the Liberals to wake up that there's a fentanyl crisis in this country.
All right, genius. Then why the fuck wasn't it the, more people died than in World War II? So why isn't it the stop the drug dealers election? Why are you still hung up on the carbon tax? You know? It's like, well, now that I've rebranded, yeah, why aren't those liberals talking about this? I mean, to be fair, he has talked about it in the past, but I feel like tens of thousands of people dying is a little bit more interesting than the carbon tax, but that's just me.
Doing this for him. I'm not doing this for him. I'm doing this so that there's not one more Canadian parent that has to collapse on the ground on learning that their child has died in a back alley somewhere. We must reinvest in treatment and recovery to bring our loved ones home drug-free. And so my message to those who are struggling with addiction is this: hang on, have hope. Help is on the way.
Man, this would be so good if it would be so good if it was coupled with like strong deportation rhetoric, get these criminals out of here. Also, we need to deport these people who are here illegally. Also, mass immigration is out of control. Like those would be great talking points to put together, but
our soils, our skies, and our seas. We will stand on guard for our people at home and around the world. Our military will protect our national interests by carrying our weight in North America to secure and leverage more trade with the U.S., all while becoming less reliant on them for our defense. After 9 years of Liberal incompetence and disdain, our military is weakened and our allies no longer respect us. Job one for a new Conservative government rebuilding our armed forces is to protect our true north. Hostile powers.
Direct flights to Amritsar. Hostile powers. The World Sikh Organization. That's in every single major political, or connected to every single major political party. Foreign interference. Let's see if he brings up foreign interference.
Powers like China and Russia want our resources, our shipping routes, and to be within striking distance of our continent. We won't let them. We will defend our seas, skies, and soil. We will always be the true north, strong and free. Part one of our Canada First plan for our north will add 2,000 more Canadian Rangers, our eyes and ears in the north. It will deliver 4 heavy icebreakers for the Coast Guard and the Navy, and we will establish Canada's first permanent Arctic base since the Cold War, CFB Iqaluit.
I mean, what's very ironic about all this is he's like the strong leader, right? He's like, I'm a strong leader. I'm going to do something about Canada and the Arctic. You're only doing this because Trump has put pressure on you. You are reacting and responding to Trump's concerns about American security and, you know, crime leaking in from Canada. And it's just funny. He's like, yes, I'm a leader. We're going to do this in the Arctic. Yeah, you're doing that in reaction to Trump, though. You know, like, again, you're reacting to Trump. You're reacting to Carney. You're reacting to Trudeau. It's all just a reaction. You know, there's not much of an actual. Yeah, I mean, it's funny because it's like the only reason you're saying this is because Trump is applying pressure, and now all of a sudden you care about the Arctic. Like all of a sudden, like, when's the last time that he mentioned the Arctic? A year ago? 2 years ago? No. It's because Trump showed up and started to, I was totally going to put more security in the Arctic for sure. That was totally part of my plan. It's not because Trump's doing this now. And again, I hate to say it, but it kind of plays into Trump's rhetoric of like, oh, maybe he'll be a better governor. You know, he's already on top of the security thing. Man.
The new F-35s and Poseidons, the aircraft that will detect, deter, and if necessary, destroy threats in the north. The base will also help NORAD protect our continent. We will cut red tape and speed up delivery on already planned missiles, refueling aircraft, upgrades to the forward operating locations in Inuvik, Yellowknife, Goose Bay, early warning aircraft, new submarines, tactical helicopters, and new satellite ground stations will protect our Arctic and all Canadians. And we will pay for it. We will pay for it by cutting foreign aid to dictators, terrorists, and global bureaucracies.
Really? Ukraine too? Ukraine and Israel. Is he going to bring up Ukraine and Israel?
Canada will honor its men and women in...
Thank you for the super chat again. Odious Patton with the $5. Trudeau trained Chinese army. All Canadian Armed Forces leadership are traitors. Dude, thank you for the super chat once again. And yeah, again, I'm not a big military guy, so he just listed off all this stuff. Is that even realistic? I don't know, maybe. Who's that even for? Like who even knows all the things he was listing off there, though? So that's so interesting. It's like, was that an intentional thing that he, like, was that like a message to Trump to be like, hey, look at all the stuff I'm going to do? Again, he's doing it for, you know, in reaction to Trump, if anything. But all right, we're almost through this, guys. We're on the home stretch here.
Uniform. The patriotic men and women of this forces will have the tools they need to defend our country, and our military will be guided by a warrior culture and not a woke culture.
Like, it could be so much better, guys. You know, like as hey, yeah, like I think everyone agrees with that. But still, all we get is we need a warrior culture, not a woke culture. And then like plebs like, I'm gonna put that on a t-shirt. That's so freaking base, bro. Like, my God, dude. Oh my God. It's like, it could be so much better, man.
My friends, we are a strong nation. No outside force can stop us unless we let them. But just as terrible economic policies has threatened our economic independence, so too have the radical post-national ideologies.
Bruh, really, bro? Really, bro? You're not post-national too? Anyone from anywhere can do anything. It's the same thing. It's the same thing. It's the same thing.
That say that Canada has no core identity.
Okay, let's hear it. Let's hear it. Let's hear it, Poilievre. What's our core identity?
Threatened our national sovereignty. As the great Nova Scotian Joseph Howe said, a wise nation preserves its records, gathers up its monuments, decorates the tombs of its illustrious dead, repairs the great public structures, and fosters national pride and love of country by perpetual references to the sacrifices and glories of the past.
Well, okay, let's hold them to that. Let's juxtapose that soundbite with very racist things. Very racist things that various Canadian politicians and leaders have said in the past. There's been some very racist things in Canadian history of like, we're this Aryan nation and we are going to be like eugenics. A big part of like, if I'm not mistaken, Adolf Hitler was inspired by like a eugenicist in Saskatchewan, Canada, back in like the 20s or 30s or something, which this inspired Hitler, like crazy, like Aryan eugenics guy. And I'm pretty sure he was like part of the NDP or something like this. So let's get some of those quotes. Juxtapose that with what Poilievre just said is like, if you want to instill pride in your nation, you need to uphold the people who came before us, and the quotations and the, I am liking what he's saying, but it's like, let's actually hold him to that.
We will end cancel culture and stop the war on our history.
Yeah, okay. As someone who's been like disavowed by all these like CPC influencers saying that I'm the woke right, I really pretty sure it's not the end of cancel culture. It's just going to have a different name, different style, but it's going to be the same thing.
Museums will celebrate the great achievements of Canada, telling the unvarnished truth that on balance, this is the greatest country on earth precisely because of the goodness of those who came before and sacrificed so that we could have what we call Canada today.
That is white supremacist coded, actually, what he just said, because I actually agree with him. It's like, yeah, the people that came before really did make this country great. It truly was the people that came before that made this country. I agree. I actually really agree with that. The people now, the people who have recently come here, it was the people before, really, that I think that's really where the good stuff.
We will celebrate. We will celebrate rather than tearing down our heroes in history. We will defeat this insidious and divisive cancel culture that sought to destroy our national pride and monuments. They've even tried to destroy the great founder of this country, John A. Macdonald. Well, I've got a message for them. If there were no John A. Macdonald, there would be no Canada. Under a Conservative government, I promise you we will build new statues and name new public structures after the great founding Prime Minister of our country.
Okay, that's kind of based. The reason why it's kind of hollow, though, is the entire Conservative Party co-signed a motion in Parliament to say that residential schools are genocide. Because at the time, with the public pressure, with the media pressure, the entire Conservative Party capitulated and said, okay, yes, we're inherently genocidal. So the entire Parliament agreed with that. But hopefully that can maybe start a conversation. That might be kind of a conversation starter a little bit. Maybe the media will start to call him racist. Obviously, he's not. Like, it could be way, way more better. But, you know, maybe this could be a little bit of something. You know, like maybe it'll, you know, yeah, maybe it'll be some. Maybe that'll be some. That was okay. That was okay. I'm sure he doesn't really mean it, but like it would be cool to have people talking about Sir John A. more often, even if it's coming from like this lame dweeb. Like it is. It could be. Hey, if it's gonna start the right conversation, then I support it.
His name will go on public structures and other places of national importance. I will also defend and preserve our proud military traditions. Our military traditions, that means that I will reinstate the great Royal Navy marching anthem, Heart of Oak, so that generations of sailors can carry on this beautiful tradition.
Don't know what that is.
We will promptly complete a long overdue monument to the brave Canadians who fought and died for us in Afghanistan. We will add new criminal code penalties for anyone caught tearing down or defacing our statues and monuments.
That's kind of interesting. That's kind of cool.
And then there's our passport. We will restore Terry Fox, Vimy Ridge.
I mean, this is good fodder. This is good fodder for the crowds. Hey, a more cool passport, yo! But again, can we just call for deportations, please? Like, can we talk about the demographic changes, the foreign invasion that everyone is noticing, even apolitical people? We're gonna change the pictures on the passport. Whoa, the passport pictures! Oh my God! House gets broken into by illegal immigrants. You're like, another B&E happens down the street. Hey, but we have but there's a new passport picture. We're getting Terry Fox back on the passport. Yeah, we got robbed again because of the rampant crime. But cool passport.
We will restore Terry Fox, Vimy Ridge, the famous five, the Blue Nose, the Fathers of Confederation, Indigenous people, and our military heroes to our passport.
Whoa, another big super chat from Silverman and Buddy. Thank you so much, sir. The $50 super chat. He says he doesn't know how it feels to bury dead addicts. It's worse for the veterans that live with PTSD and are disgraced by our governments. Very, very good point. Very good point. I mean, I don't know many veterans that are pumped. I don't know any veterans that are absolutely pumped about, like, how far institutions have fallen, you know? And like I said earlier, like this sort of excitement around Poilievre is more of just like a default because like we love the idea of getting our hand off of the burning element on the stove so much. The burning element being having Trudeau and these Liberal Party as our leaders. Like we want to remove our hand from the burning element so badly that like the idea of removing our hand is, of course we want that. So we kind of delude ourselves into thinking that, oh my God, Poilievre is so amazing. And it's like, it's really not. Our institutions, and that's the thing, you know, it's the institutions themselves. It's not just the guy in the prime minister's seat in the House of Commons. It's the actual institutions themselves that are completely infiltrated and by the woke. I'm going to end the woke. Are you going to end the woke? Is that going to happen? At least he's saying it. At least he's saying some things that are like actually speaking back to our colonial past and kind of, you know, it's better than nothing. But more people need to give him shit, man. Like, more people need to collectively put pressure on this guy, because it only results in like him doing the right thing, him actually positively stepping in the right direction. The only reason he's even doing this rally is because they saw that their weak branding was shit. That if you just keep talking about the carbon tax, you know, your base is thinking you're irrelevant already. You know, you need to differentiate yourself. It's not, I mean, maybe I'll save till the end, the kind of final thoughts, but let's keep it going. Thank you so much for the super chat. Hey, and another one from Odious Patton. Odious Patton on fire tonight. You guys are going to make sure I finish this. Amazing. Can't believe it. We made it. With $11, Brave Soldiers 07, rest in peace, Kevin McKay. Rest in peace, Kevin McKay. 07's in chat to Kevin McKay. Thank you for the $11, Odious Patton. I appreciate it. Yeah, I mean, I'm not a veteran. I've never been in the Canadian Armed Forces. I am cursed with like giving a shit about this country though. And it's tough, man. And I can't even imagine what it's like to be a Canadian veteran and actually like live through this. It's just so disgraceful. Because I feel demoralized. I feel like, oh my God, like, does my country even love me? Do I even love my country anymore? Like, what does it even mean? And I'm just like a regular dude. You know, I'm not like, I never actually joined the military where that kind of like feeling of belonging to your country and loving your country and wanting to fight for your country and sacrifice for your country. And then to see that its meaning, that its significance is constantly being undermined, constantly being subverted, constantly being just kind of like toyed around like a fucking football or something. I've talked to Jeremy McKenzie many times, and I've said to him often, like, I cannot imagine what this is like from your perspective. It must be like 50 million times worse. Just in terms of how like horrifying, how tough it is to kind of just cope with the failures of our institution, and also just sort of like the passiveness and the cowardice and this sort of surrender almost for so many Canadians, just Canadian men who are just watching sport ball, eating cheese, as Jeremy says. It's tough. It's tough. It's tough, but I think this is a low point right now. I think this is a low point for Canada. With the threat of the Trump invasion, all that shit, it's been a big wake-up call for a lot of people of how we've seen how weak our united, like our sense of unity is and our sense of Canadian identity is. And I think everyone sees this. And all these different politicians are just kind of posturing with like, you know, experimenting with their different wizardry tricks and catchphrases to try and like capture the imagination of Canadians in a very cynical way, I might add, because so much of it is fake. So much of it is the establishment just trying to get our attention and trying to get, you know, our support. And a lot of it just seems very fake. And I'm hoping this moment is going to plant a seed for a lot of people. Like, we're not going to hear from these people in the short term. But I think I'm hoping there's a lot of people watching in the background. Maybe they're not even that political, but like they might be watching this, and this might be their red pill. This might be their red pill where they see, wow, the way that Trump really humiliated Canada made me realize how much trouble we're in and how little of a strong Canadian identity we have. And hopefully those seeds grow into real nationalism, into a real sense of national identity, a sort of rebirth of our Canadian national spirit, you know, and to be fair, bringing back some of the things that Poilievre is saying here in terms of actually honoring the people that came before us and the statues and all of that. And as much as I hate this guy and think that he's greasing us up to fuck us, some of the rhetoric actually, you know, lands. It is good. They're doing a good job at greasing us up.
Our heritage and citizenship departments will be using a policy of promoting our common national identity. That will be embedded in our immigration policies, in our heritage policies, and in everything we do. The goal is not to erase differences, but to bridge them. We will strengthen the bonds of common country between Canadians of different background, race, birth, region. It starts with the institutions that bring us together. I will massively expand the Cadet Corps and the Junior Rangers to bring our youth. We will bring our youth together.
Whoa. Hold on. What? Did you? What a crazy magic trick he just pulled there. We have to watch that again. That was wild. So he says all of this inspiring stuff about our national identity, the strength of the military, our veterans, some of the best stuff for true patriotism. And then he slips in, what did he say? He said, hey, we're going to have like a test, a purity test to see if you're Canadian enough. By the way, you can be from anywhere and doesn't really, honestly, like, we're going to kind of erase differences and like we're all going to be the same anyway. That's so fucking evil. That's so evil, man, to like slip that in. And we're going to have cadets too. It's such an evil, sly thing he just did there.
That will be embedded in our immigration policies, in our heritage.
So he talks about veterans.
Our heritage and citizenship departments will be using a policy of promoting our common national identity. That will be embedded in our immigration policies, in our heritage policies, and in everything we do. The goal is not to erase differences, but to bridge them. We will strengthen the bonds of common country.
Like, what does this all mean? What does this all mean? It sounds like, hey, we're going to have like a standardized test to be Canadian. Or standardized, or like force people to assimilate. Of course, he's way too afraid. Like, if he said assimilate, we would know what he's talking about. Is he talking about assimilation? Is he talking about enforcing a Canadian identity? He makes it seem like, yeah, we're going to have some sort of standard for citizenship. By the way, we're going to, erase differences. Did he say erase differences?
That will be embedded in our immigration policies, in our heritage policies, and in everything we do. The goal is not to erase differences, but to bridge them.
To bridge differences. We're going to bridge differences. It just sounds like globalist gobbledygook, unfortunately. We're going to stand up for our country. By the way, it doesn't matter where you come from. Just make sure you work hard when you get here. We're going to stand up for our veterans. By the way, we're going to bridge differences from people all across the world. This is just watering down the identity of the country again. It's just kind of coded differently. It's worded differently. It's basically the same thing.
We will strengthen the bonds of common country between Canadians of different background, race, birth, region. It starts with the institutions that bring us together.
Diversity is our strength, guys.
I will massively expand the Cadet Corps and the Junior Rangers.
And then to just jump back to the military stuff is crazy. Like veterans, a bunch of postmodern, post-national, basically multiculturalism shit, but also that's citizenship now. Also cadets. That's crazy.
To bring our youth. We will bring our youth together for mentorship under great members of the Canadian Armed Forces. There will be more exchanges. For example, can you imagine if we had an exchange where a kid from Mississauga could go up and embed with the Rangers in Inuvik, learning thousands of years of Inuit knowledge and history, all while surveilling our northern coastline against risks? Wouldn't that be a way to bring our different peoples together?
That was the most CBC thing I've ever heard in my life. And I'm not trying to be mean to like the indigenous or whatever, but like you guys are kind of like the political football always. Like you're the original political football, right? The indigenous. Wouldn't it be great if someone from Mississauga could protect the country and also learn about the indigenous up there? What the fuck are you talking about, man? Like, what the fuck are you talking about? If you were on CBC, I would be like, oh, okay. Like, this is like CBC. Okay, yeah. We want to do all this weird sort of like, yeah, let's prioritize the indigenous culture and everything. But this is the middle of a conservative speech, of course, of the new leader. And like people are coping so hard to be like, yeah, that's what I was thinking about last night. I hope Poilievre says something about a guy in Mississauga going up to the north to like protect the Arctic and then also learn about indigenous culture at the same time. And also, that's kind of like different from the Sir John A. thing, right? Like learning about the founding fathers who were of like Christian European stock, who actually founded and unified the nation and helped develop it and build it, is a little different than like indigenous culture up north. It's certainly part of Canada still, but it's like those are kind of like two different things. And quite frankly, talking about the Sir John A. stuff that's been demonized, the colonization stuff that's been totally demonized, that's kind of more important right now. That's sort of like learning about it, no offense, but like learning about indigenous culture, like making that a priority. That once again, it's sort of like undermining. It's kind of like the anti-white stuff that's been very popular, where kind of like shitting on European people is like the soup du jour still in pop culture. But in this case, it's putting Canada first. We love it.
I remember when I was a kid, I was 20 years old, and I went on this exchange to Chicoutimi in Quebec. And here I was, an Alberta kid who had lost a lot of the French that my dad taught me. But as an Albertan in rural Quebec, I never felt...
Which dad was it, Poilievre?
More Canadian. Sitting around the table with the Dubé family and letting them tell me their stories and realizing how much we had in common. Learning in a classroom how to properly speak the language that I still haven't quite mastered. Et dans la nuit, dans les soirées, on est allé au pub pour célébrer avec les autres jeunes du Québec. Et je sais que les Québécois aiment dire « je me souviens », mais il y a certaines soirées que je me souviens pas. But let me say that I'm announcing today that we will double the number of placements for language immersion pour que les jeunes anglophones puissent apprendre la langue française. 10 000 jeunes vont pouvoir apprendre les langues. On va enlever les deux solitudes et être totalement unis entre les différentes régions. We're going to remove the two solitudes by bringing everyone in this country together. And there's no more important moment than when you become a citizen as an immigrant to this country. It's a precious...
This is such a mess, bro. This is such a mess. This is so all over the place. And it's true. Canada has had to overcome differences with the uniting of the French Catholics and the English Protestants, and there's the differences and all that. But isn't it interesting? Given the situation, given the radical demographic change that we're living through, it's like, yeah, the message from the Conservative Party is like overcoming differences is the most important thing. And he's talking about a very specific thing of French and English, which is core to the Canadian identity, truly. And then, whoops, he's jumping into immigration in general now, once again, as if the differences between French Catholics and English Protestants is the difference between a like Polish, German, English guy and a guy from Bangladesh, from India. As if like those like are the same differences, you know? Kind of great, kind of a very dishonest sleight of hand here.
Inheritance. I've been to some of these beautiful citizenship ceremonies. They're very emotional. Most immigrants used to take the entire day off so they could celebrate and take pictures. Yet the Liberals, since COVID, have been phasing them out and instead replacing them with online ceremonies. They're even working on what they call click citizenship, where you become a citizen by clicking online.
So he's going to go into this specific stuff of the citizenship ceremonies and how they're not done in person anymore. But he's not going to oppose mass immigration or like explicitly say anything about deportations. This is crazy. So he's like, we don't romanticize citizenship ceremonies anymore. Let's see where he's going with this. But
the citizenship oath is a special moment and should not be a simple administrative nuisance like renewing your driver's license. But my government will restore in-person citizenship ceremonies.
Who the fuck is asking for this? Who is asking for this? I mean, maybe if there was actually like a very strict standard to become a Canadian citizen like they have in Switzerland, like maybe if we changed the standards and actually honored and made it something like a higher bar to actually be considered Canadian, which is not at all what we have right now. He sort of alluded like maybe he would change stuff, but that was very unclear. And now he's romanticizing this becoming a Canadian citizen thing, which if you're an Indian watching this and you want to become Canadian, you would love this part. You would love this part. This would be amazing. This would be unreal. I love PP. He is amazing. I can't wait to become a Canadian.
We will add the following words to the existing oath. I pledge gratitude to those who worked, sacrificed, and gave their lives to defend the freedom I now enjoy and to build the country I now call home. Like the people before me, I pledge to fulfill my duties as a Canadian citizen.
Damn. I swear to God, I made a Substack post that had something like that, a pledge in it. Are they reading my Substack and just stealing it? Fuck.
We have seen the government divide people by race, religion, gender.
Should I see if it's similar? Let me look.
Vaccine status and more. No wonder hate crimes are up 251% in 9 years.
Hate crimes mentioned. Uh-oh.
Places of worship are firebombed and shot at. And for the first time, the world's problems are spilling onto our streets. That must end, and when I am Prime Minister, it will end. Laws will be enforced. People who engage in this activity will be locked up, and they will pay a serious price. Those who are visiting the country on a visa and are not citizens or permanent residents that engage in hateful violence will be deported from the country.
He finally said it. He finally said deportations. I mean, it's better than nothing. It's better than nothing. But guys, this is what you get. This is what you get when you complain about Pierre Poilievre. This is what you get when you stop simping for Pierre Poilievre and you start complaining about him and say, hey, he's not conservative enough. Hey, he's not conservative enough. He sucks. He sucks. He sucks. Eventually, I mean, it's not that great, but at least he does something. You know, like this is where this is my whole point in criticizing him over the years is like, it's only through criticizing him. It's only by being further right and pushing everything to the right will he eventually say, okay, maybe we will deport people. Fine. He's like, even the way he says it, he's like almost like upset that he had to say deportations. Watch. We will deport. We will deport people. Fine.
Laws will be enforced. People who engage in this activity will be locked up and they will pay a serious price. Those who are visiting the country on a visa and are not citizens or permanent residents that engage in hateful violence will be deported from the country.
Will be deported from the country. He said it. We got you to say it. Finally.
And we will treat all our people, regardless of their race, as Canadian and Canadian first with no hyphens.
Wow, bro. Wow, dude. He just goes from something based to something like totally post-nationalist, like the biggest multicultural. Oh my gosh. The sleight of hand is crazy, guys. It's crazy. He's turning Canadians' minds into mush right now with these antics. We will deport people. By the way, no hyphens. If you're Canadian, you're a Canadian, bitch. Everyone's a Canadian. Even all the Sings are totally Canadian. They're Canadians just like me and you. Ha! So there you go. That's nuts. That's nuts. Yeah. So it's like says a base thing, then says just multicultural, post-national. Hey, everyone's a Canadian. Anybody who shows up, they're Canadian now.
And we will treat all our people, regardless of their race, as Canadian and Canadian first with no hyphens.
We will treat all of our people as Canadians and Canadians first with no hyphens. Yeah. That's just weird. That's just crazy. I don't even see color. What color? We're all Canadians, bro. I mean, that's not even how I was taught growing up. We did this thing in public school called Heritage Fair. It was like the science fair, but it was called Heritage Fair. And it encouraged you to learn about your heritage. Learn about, and most of the time, what part of Europe are you from? That was usually what Heritage Fair was all about. What part of Europe are you from? I learned about my grandfather, who fought in the Second World War and helped defeat Hitler, by the way. So, if you are Jewish, you're welcome, because my grandfather helped defeat Hitler. So I think I deserve I don't know. I feel like I deserve something. You know what I mean? I know you guys are, if you guys are going to be perpetually victims of World War II, I'm like perpetually the savior, right? That's how that works, right? Anyway, yeah, we learned about Heritage Fair. We learned about your specific heritage beyond just being Canadian. Oh, okay. I'm like part English. I'm part French, part Dutch, whatever it is. So in a way, like we learned about our, like not hyphenated Canadian, but like what part of Europe we're from and how that kind of makes up our Canadian identity. And even here, Poilievre is saying, no hyphens. We're all just Canadians. We're all just the same now. It's totally two-faced. Speaking of both sides of his mouth. Hey, we're going to uphold Canadian identity, Canadian history, how it's the best. By the way, everyone who got here is just here. Doesn't matter what your race is. No more hyphens. And I talked to this on a podcast earlier with a PPC candidate, and I told him, like, it's only in white Western countries where this happens. Okay? It's only in white Western countries where the national identity can be anything. You could be an Indian and be called Canadian. You could be black and called Canadian. You could be Middle Eastern and called Canadian. Same thing in the UK, same thing in Ireland, same thing in the US. You could be Mexican and called Irish. You could be Chinese and called Irish. This is what gets pushed in every single white Western country. It never happens in India. It never happens in any African country. No white person is going to Somalia and being called Somalian. No white person is going to India and being called Indian. No white person is going to China and being called Chinese. It's pretty obvious. Like, why does it only apply in white Western countries where, for some reason, like the sort of national identity of these countries is getting globalized? It's getting turned into a post-national state. And the answer is it's because of people like this. It's because of snake politicians like this who are using patriotism. They wrap themselves in the flag and they say, I am the champion of this country. By the way, being a Canadian is anything you want. If you show up and you work hard, you're Canadian too. And like the identity is just kind of like this, like geographic landmass. And like if you got the brand, the logo of the Canadian flag, that's Canadian. Race, ancestry. Although I want to champion the statues and everything that came before us, like it really has nothing to do with the people here now. It could be anybody. So, and yeah, and I get it. The world is changing. Obviously, like, you know, we're always going to be a multiracial country based on where we're at now. Unless there really truly is a crazy return of, like, you know, fill in the blank. But, I mean, that seems unrealistic, but, it's just annoying that it's only in white Western countries where this happens. You know what I mean? Because Indians, even if they were born here, there's always like more of like the homeland in India. Oh yeah, but that's our homeland. That's really where I came from. And it's like, if you're in England, you have nowhere else to go. You have nowhere else to go. If you're in Ireland, you have nowhere else to go. You know, Ireland is your homeland. So it's just annoying that it's only in white Western countries where this happens. Super chat from Roasted Tire 666 with the $14. Thank you very much, sir. He says 51st instead. Too many poop monsters in this swamp. We needed backup. Yeah, I hear what you're saying. A lot of people feel that way. I don't think any of our problems would really go away, though, if that happened. I think there'd be some short-term benefits. It'd be the same thing like voting for Poilievre. We get Poilievre in, we get some tax cuts, we get a little bit of benefits, but there's still our institutions that are like rife with corruption. If we turn into America, we get some tax cuts. Maybe we'd get a little bit more like free speech sort of like protections and Second Amendment protections, but we'd be inheriting all the America's problems and Canada's problems. We would just be dealing with a new set of problems. And it just scares me. The 51st state stuff scares me. I don't think it's going to happen. But the 51st state stuff scares me because people are like just looking at the short term. Like they're looking at like oh yeah, there'll be some short-term benefits. It's like we have no idea what the long-term benefits of that would be. And when I see people kind of just jumping at it without even thinking of the long term, it's like that's a huge red flag for me. Anyway, we're almost there. Let's get through this. But I do appreciate the super chat. A lot, man, I get it. A lot of people are like, hey, Trump, daddy, save me. Save me, daddy. Save me, daddy, Trump. But I think that's just because how demoralized people are, how defeated people are. We think it's going to solve all of our problems. Life doesn't work that way, man. You can't just wave the wand, get Poilievre in, and then everything goes back to normal. Or become the 51st state and everything goes back to normal. Or get rid of Trudeau and everything goes back to normal. Like, that's totally not how it works. Politics is a constantly evolving shit fest of snakes and weasels and people trying to one-up each other. It would just be a total other basket of problems. And I think, in a way, I actually prefer dealing with the RCMP and CSIS. And I'm kind of a dissident. I'm not that big of a dissident. I'm friends with bigger dissidents in the country. And I would rather deal with CSIS than the RCMP and not have to deal with like the CIA. You know what I mean? And the FBI. Then again, maybe they wouldn't even care about us because we're from Canada. And that's the thing. Like even if we, anyway, I don't want to go off on that whole tangent, but because there's a lot to talk about it. I was going to say though, like, being a 51st state would be, if we truly were just one state, that would be a huge fucking slap in the dick. Like, we'd be basically like a territory with no voting rights, and we'd just be subject to Washington, D.C. You know, like who knows what that would even look like. Anyway, we're almost there. Let's keep it going.
We will leave the world's problems at the door. On va laisser les problèmes du monde à la porte. Ours is a nationalism not based on bloodlines, birthplace, or background.
Wow, he actually just said it out loud. He actually just said it out loud. Oh my God. Okay. This is going to be fun.
Visiting the country on a visa and are not citizens or permanent residents that engage in hateful violence will be deported from the country.
They'll be deported. They're deported.
And we will treat all our people, regardless of their race, as Canadian and Canadian first with no hyphens.
It's funny, like he says something having to do with deportations, and then he almost has to like rewind and like, okay, I said something that might be called racist now. By the way, everyone in the country is totally the same, and I'm basically all about diversity. But listen to what he says next. This is crazy. This is crazy.
We will leave the world's problems at the door. On va laisser les problèmes du monde à la porte. Ours is a nationalism not based on bloodlines, birthplace, or background. Whether your name...
Okay, so our nationalism is not based on bloodlines, birthplace, or background. So what is a nation? Oh. It is a large body of people united by common descent. So that would be bloodlines or background. History, culture, language. This basically has to do. This is everything that Poilievre said it is not. So this is post-nationalism. By the definition of the word nation, this is post-nationalism. The nationalism has nothing to do with the bloodline or the background or whatever the third word was. So yeah, this guy's post-nationalist. He just admitted it and said it out loud. So,
name is Martin or Mohammed, Poilievre or Patel. Tremblay. Hi there, Mr. Patel. Good to see you.
A Canadian is a Canadian is a Canadian. It's the same thing, guys. It's the same thing. This is the same thing that we got with Trudeau, except now it's just called Canada First. Just cynically slap a sticker on it that says, "We're nationalist, we swear."
It's like Smith. Or like Tremblay. Tremblay, ou Tang, Singh, Smith, or Steinberg. Whether you're from Tuktoyaktuk or Trois-Rivières, Okanagan or Armagh, Calgary or Cavendish, we are all Canadians and Canadians first.
It's the same thing. It's the same thing. This is hell, man. This is hell. This is hell. We're getting sold Trudeau again. It's the same thing as Trudeau, guys. It doesn't matter who you are. Everyone's Canadian. No one's Canadian. It doesn't fucking mean anything. And I'm sure Ferryman, I'm sure Derek, I'm sure Jeremy McKenzie has already covered this stuff. But like, if you go to the war memorials in this country, like you'll see a lot of similar names of similar backgrounds. You know, you'll see a McKenna, you'll see a Mackenzie, you'll see like a lot of Scottish, a lot of British, a lot of, you know, whatever French. Like it's mostly it's in the red ensign, guys. It's in the red ensign. But now apparently that doesn't mean anything. Apparently it's it's whatever the fuck you want. It is. It means nothing. So it's like by definition, he just described post-nationalism. Wow, what an ender.
Le Canada va être autonome, souverain et va se tenir debout. On va récompenser le travail, libérer les entrepreneurs, récolter nos ressources, fabriquer nos propres produits, échanger entre nous, bâtir des maisons pour nos jeunes, renforcer nos frontières et nos armées, honorer notre histoire et hisser notre drapeau. Ce qui nous unit.
Infuriating, says Odious Patton. Yeah, absolutely, man. This is brutal. This is. There was a couple good moments, couple good actual things that at least he said that, but as a whole, it's like, bruh, on the most important issue, he is not one of us. He is a post-nationalist, multicultural Mr. Dress Up, and he's not afraid to say that.
C'est la promesse canadienne que quiconque, d'où qu'il vienne, puisse accomplir des rêves, que travailler fort garantit une belle vie avec une belle maison dans un quartier sécuritaire. protégé par une frontière solide et des soldats courageux sous notre fier drapeau. Pour préserver ce drapeau et sa promesse, on doit travailler ensemble, lutter ensemble, gagner ensemble. C'est ça, mettre le Canada d'abord.
We're learning French. I love it. Can't wait till this is
We will
over.
be a self-reliant, sovereign country that stands on its 2 feet. We will reward work, unleash entrepreneurs, harvest our resources, make our own goods, trade with each other, build homes for our youth, rebuild our borders and military, honor our history, and raise our flag.
You know what? Another problem with this guy and with this conservative party, like by listing off all of those things, it's like we're making it all about this and this and this and this and this and this and this. And it's like, okay, so you're making it about nothing. Like you're making it about too many things. It's the whole problem with him defining Canada as anything. It's anybody. So it's nothing. My campaign is everything. Okay, so it's nothing then. It's nothing. It's totally hollow.
Binds us together. What binds us together is the Canadian promise that anyone from anywhere can do anything, that hard work gets you a great life in a beautiful house on a safe street, wrapped in the protective arms of a solid border defended by brave soldiers under a proud flag. To preserve that flag and its promise, we must work together, fight together, and win together. That is what it means to put Canada first.
He basically just described having a country. You know what I mean? Like he said, yeah, we're gonna have a border. We're gonna have like houses. You're gonna have a family. There's gonna be a military too. And it's like you're just describing like what a country is. And we're gonna put Canada first. And like that's how far we've fallen to where like just describing what a country is and what an actual country should have. This is like the grand vision is to just have a country. Or we have a flag too, you know? And what's missing there is what's uniting the people in the country. Because right now you're saying hard work. You're saying hard work unites the people in the country. Doesn't matter if you're Singh or Patel or Tremblay. Doesn't matter if you're from Bangladesh or Brampton. You know, it's anybody. And the thing is, if you haven't noticed, Pierre Poilievre, we're kind of struggling to unite and feel as though we are part of a unified country because of multiculturalism. That's actually why we've been struggling to feel united under a flag, to have a strong military, and to have a strong border, because we've had multiculturalism infiltrate our institutions, and oh my God, we have a problem with foreign interference. Oh my God, we have a problem with foreign interference. That is the root of the problem, because when you have foreign people prioritizing foreign interests, then all of a sudden, what does the flag really mean? Are they serving this flag or a flag from somewhere else? Are they working for the benefit of this military and to protect this people? Or are they working to protect somebody else and to help somebody else's military? So the multiculturalism enabled the foreign interference. But somehow creating a Canada First brand that is all about multiculturalism, is that going to solve the foreign interference problem? No, that's actually going to obfuscate the foreign interference problem. You're actually just running cover for the problems from multiculturalism, which is the normalization of foreign interference. So this guy is essentially just running. Did he bring up foreign interference once? Didn't bring up foreign interference once in the entire speech, really. But he's like, by the way, Canadian identity is whatever the fuck you want it to be. Doesn't matter where you're from. Doesn't matter who you are. Doesn't matter what race you are. We're all Canadian now. So I guess there's no foreign interference now. Right? Because really, if the World Sikh Organization is benefiting Sikhs and people in the state of Punjab, aren't they really just Canadians too? It doesn't matter where you're from, right? So why is that really even foreign interference then? If the World Sikh Organization is benefiting Sikhs or Indians in India, I mean, really, they're just future Canadians anyway. Doesn't matter where you're from, like you said. Doesn't really matter where you're from. They just need to come here and be Canadian. They're just helping future Canadians. So is that really foreign interference? That was the conclusion especially was way worse than I expected. Like I knew I talked to somebody and they said, yeah, like he's just selling multiculturalism again. He's saying it's not post-nationalism, but it's just the same thing over again. But wow, like if that's the core of the message, like what does the flag mean anymore? What does Canada First even mean anymore? It's just more disintegration of the actual words and the meanings. And this guy's leading the charge. Is that it? 5 more minutes? Oh my God, he's still got... Oh my God. Oh, the Canada First chant. That brings me back. Shout outs to Tyler Russell, who... did a Canada First rally, which was called this horrible white nationalist thing. Who was there? We had shout outs to Laura Lynn Tyler Thompson was there. I spoke at it. Mark Friesen spoke at it. Did Bernier speak at it? No, I don't think he did. But yeah, it was awesome. It was awesome. Canada First. That was real Canada First because it was racist. It was like kind of racist. Not this fake trash. W. Tyler, L. Puck Daddy. Yeah, I have to agree with that. All right, let's see. Let's bring it home.
But I warn you, it will not be easy. We may have very hard days ahead. But I have a question. Do you think making Canada was easy? No. Do you think it was easy for the Inuit to sleep in homes of snow, pull dinner out of the icy waters, and survive thousands of winters in minus 45? Pensez-vous que c'était facile pour les colons français de Tadoussac en l'an 1600? Après un hiver brutal, seulement 5 d'entre eux ont survécu. Pourtant, d'autres sont venus.
There's some based comments in the chat. He is still liberal. True.
Et on établit une présence française qui prospère encore aujourd'hui au Québec. Do you think it was easy to drive the spikes into the Canadian Pacific Railway, into the frozen ground, through the rock, muskeg, and mountains? Chinese laborers, under brutal conditions, forge a ribbon of steel that unites east to west. Do you think it was easy for the Canadian teenagers living in frozen, rat-infested trenches only to run out towards flying metal to attack and beat the Germans in World War?
Again, this is like great rhetoric, but he's weaponizing it to promote this post-national multicultural Canada. You hate to see it.
One, as their sons and daughters would again do in World War II. Pensez-vous que c'était facile de se battre en Italie pendant la Seconde Guerre mondiale à travers ville en ville, d'Ortona,
Another based comment. Immigration freeze now. That's good rhetoric. Freeze? Immigration freeze? That's not bad. Stop immigration. Moratorium. Immigration freeze? That's not bad. That's kind of catchy.
Sinon, et bien d'autres, les Canadiens ont combattu une chaleur intense et une pluie glaciale avançant malgré tout. Do you think it was easy for Terry Fox's cancer-ravaged body to run across our land, pounding his one and only leg again and again on lonely highways with chipped bones and blistered limbs to fight the disease that would later take his life? No, none of this was easy. Making Canada was hard. Those are the people who built and defended our country through sacrifice and struggle, but they did not go that far.
Just while Terry Fox came up, I know a lot of Diagolon people like Terry Fox slander. Shout outs to Derek Rants. Did you know that somebody actually did complete the Marathon of Hope? His name was Steve Fonyo. He also had cancer, also had one leg, and he made it the whole way. He completed it. He successfully did it. And what, like, it's not to, like, you know, denigrate Terry Fox necessarily, but it's like, why don't we mention the guy that actually did it too in relation to Terry Fox? You know what I mean? Like, it's kind of fucked up. I've talked to Randy Hillier about this. It's like, we're obsessed with failure. Canada's obsessed with failure. Like, we focus on the loser for some reason. You know, not to call Terry a loser necessarily, but like, some guy actually did it. Like, it's kind of cool to talk about the guy that actually was successful, is it not?
And travel that long so that we could take the easy.
Oh yeah, shout out to James. While we're talking about people who fucking endured across the country, shout out to James Topp once again. Imagine a politician mentioning James Topp. My God, that would be based for once.
Way out and give up. Like them, we are part of something bigger than ourselves. We are in this together. We are at this place.
Sorry, the we're in this together just gave me flashbacks to COVID.
In this time, because we have a job to do, to pass on intact what we inherited from those who came before us to those who come after us. Parce que le Canada vaut la peine qu'on se batte pour lui.
Yeah, but what are you passing on? You don't even believe in a nation, man. You just believe in an economic zone. Like, all of this is, after he said that thing of like a nation has nothing to do with bloodline or background, it's like it's kind of over. Like, it's kind of over for any sort of nationalistic message. It's crazy. Carl Stenbeck, Topp deserves so much more recognition. Absolutely. He's such a humble guy too, which is like so much respect for the guy. But part of me is like, man, can we at least keep your videos on the internet? You know, because I'm pretty sure he like wiped all of his stuff, and it's like, dude, we need that legacy. We need people to know. We need people to know what happened, man. But in a way, he's more of a legend that way. You know, he's more of a legend. It's like, wait, did it even happen? How do you even know? His YouTube channel's down. But yeah. Anyway, we're almost there. 2 more minutes.
Pour notre peuple, pour notre terre. Pour notre chez nous, pour le Canada, because our country is worth fighting for our people, for our land, for our home, for Canada first, always and forever. Let's bring it home. Thank you.
Like, how can you fight? How can you fight for your people? How can you fight for your people if the nation is not the people? Doesn't make any sense, man. Doesn't make any sense. What's the live chat saying? What'd you guys think? What'd you guys think? For Jeets to pass the Jeets? Yeah, we need the history for Jeets to pass it on to more Jeets. Yeah, no shit. All right, let's go back to that one last crazy comment he made.
Sécuritaire. For our youth, rebuild our border, gets you a great life. Work together, fight together, and win together. That is what it means to put Canada first.
I forget if it's right after this or before. So cringe, lame, Canada cooked, thumbs down, more immigrants, faster, powerful immigration, and apples.
I warn you, it will not be easy. We may have very hard days ahead. But I have a question. Do you think making Canada...
Okay, so I think it was before this, right?
Do you think it was easy?
Do you think it was easy?
Gets you a great life and a beautiful... Garantie une belle vie. Des soldats courageux. Harvest our resources. Make our own goods. Trade with each other. Build homes for our youth. Rebuild our borders and military. Honor our history and raise our flag. What binds us together? What binds us together is the Canadian promise that anyone from anywhere can do anything. That hard work gets you a great life in a beautiful house on a safe street, wrapped in the protective arms of a solid border defended by brave soldiers under a proud flag. To preserve that flag and its promise, we must work together, fight together, and win together. That is what it means to put Canada first.
Sorry, I'm just looking for the clip again.
But I warn you, it will not be easy.
Oh, fuck, where is it, guys? About 350. He's going to do the things, yes. You know what? I've been streaming for too long. Guys, thanks for watching. If you want to help me with the documentary, well, you'll see a preview in a few days, but I appreciate all the super chats, guys. If you do want to check that out, you can go to givesendgo.com/savefreespeech. You should see an awesome trailer there within the next several days. Yeah, it's going to be a banger. I'm excited about it. It's going to be about actually talking about these corrupt institutions. It's going to be telling the story of persecuted Canadians and how no one's speaking up for them. And yeah, I think it's going to be an important story for people to understand. It's going to be talking about the Canadian Anti-Hate Network and how they influence politics, media, academia. So it should be a good one. Thanks for tuning in. Happy Saturday, everybody. And yeah, we're going to talk to you soon. I appreciate you tuning in. Until next time. Appreciate it, guys.
And we will treat all our people, regardless of their race, as Canadian and Canadian first with no hyphens. We will leave the world's problems at the door. On va laisser les problèmes du monde à la porte. Ours is a nationalism not based on bloodlines, birthplace, or background.
Here it is.
Whether your name is Martin or Mohammed,
2753.
Poilievre or Patel. Nationalism not based on bloodlines, birthplace,
27.
We will leave the world's problems at the door. On va laisser les problèmes du monde à la porte. Ours is a nationalism not based on bloodlines, birthplace, or background. Whether your name is Martin or Mohammed, Poilievre or Patel, Tremblay